and tranquility in our electoral process. What I've said is not in the law. It was out of EC's magnanimity and transparency. But if that is going to bring violence and chaos, and as I said earlier, coming events, it may even lead to killings. Should they wait for that to happen? Withdraw your agents and let peace and harmony prevail at the transfer process system. I don't think that is fair enough. It means you are being confrontational to the decisions of the authority, which is vested in the Electoral Commission of Ghana under the Constitution of the Republic. We don't have to be confrontational in election processes.
Meanwhile, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers is supporting the EC's decision. Have a listen.
No, as I'm saying, it has never even occurred in this commission before. It's not in the law in the first place. So I'm even wondering why the EC, maybe they were being too magnanimous by allowing them to send their people there. It could also be that they wanted to be extra transparent, okay? But if, on the other hand, it's being abused, then they are right. I, in the first place, wouldn't even want agents to be around when transfers are being made, because the law does not even back it. You can't defend it anywhere because the law is against it. It is not written anywhere that when transfers are being made, parties should be represented.
You heard the National Coordinator of CODIO, Albert Ahin. Now, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has promised to review the 1992 Constitution if he becomes president. According to him, the time has come for changes to be made to the document to focus more on economic development. Addressing the Volta Regional House of Chiefs in Ho as part of a tour of the region, Dr. Bawumia highlighted that the primary objective of the Constitution, which was to ensure stability, has been achieved over the past 3 decades. However, he now sees a pressing need for amendments that will reorient the Constitution towards fostering economic growth.
We need constitutional changes. I think our Constitution is a good one. It was done for political stability, and we have had political stability over the last 30 years. But I think now there may be need for certain changes that we should do to steer the Constitution towards economic development. Professor Atta Mills, may God bless his soul, started the process of constitutional review. We should take it up and do broad consultation and bring it up. And I think in this process, it is also time to reduce the power of the presidency in our Constitution. I think that the era for that strong president, I think it was a past era. I think now, as we move towards trying to get the Constitution moving towards economic development, then we should reduce the power of the presidency, and we'll get a bit more deeper democracy in my view.
Meanwhile, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia announced that e-gates will be implemented at the Kotoka International Airport by the end of the year. During a meeting with the clergy in Cape Coast on Monday, the Vice President stated that the e-gates will be installed in the arrival section of the airport, removing the need for Ghanaians to undergo immigration checks upon arrival.
In fact, before the end of this year, if you arrive in Ghana at Kotoka Airport, you don't even need to go to an immigration officer. We are putting together the e-gates. You put your Ghana card, it will open for you, and you pass and enter. The e-gates will come into work in Ghana before the end of this year. In Ghana before the end of this year.
That was the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Still on the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has announced free dialysis treatment for all children suffering from kidney disease in the country. Similarly, adults over 60 years will receive free treatment, while those between 18 and 60 years will pay a subsidized cost for their treatment. He made the announcement at a meeting with the members of the clergy during a campaign tour in Cape Coast.
The good news is that today, 3rd of June, dialysis treatment for everybody under 18, everybody over 60 is free in Ghana under National Health Insurance. everybody under 18, everybody over 60. And then those in between is going to be subsidized because we want to make sure we can afford it in the budget and all of that.
Away from NPP's flag bearer and vice president, commuters along the Barakese stretch in the Ashanti region are asking the contractor working on the Atafua Bridge to expedite work on the project. The bridge is being constructed to address issues of flooding and enhance the safety of residents. But a delay in the project has left residents frustrated due to the increased traffic in the area, which they say is negatively impacting productivity. That will bring you more on that story as and when it develops. Now, labor expert and consultant Austin Gami has expressed concern over Ghana's inability to retain its human resource potential due to the absence of a planned economy and quality leadership. These remarks come as Muslim countries, including Germany, Australia, and UK, have launched initiatives to attract foreign workers, including Ghanaians. Speaking to Z News, he stated that the reality of the problem is a lack of a planned economy and emphasized on the need for a 24-hour economy.
The reality is that we do not have a planned economy to be implemented by quality leadership of this country. We need people who are dedicated, committed as leaders, not just seeking so-called partisan political office, but people who really love this nation and want to see something done for the nation, and not sounding like the traditional political commentary people. We sleep too early in this country. We don't work. A lot of the work that we do, every 4:30, 5 o'clock, you see the whole street is jammed. Everybody is seeking to go home, to go and sleep. So I am in favor of whether it is John, whether it is Alan, whether it is Dr. Baumia, whoever would come into the saddle of government from next year must be prepared and open to a 24-hour economy. It doesn't matter who says it first. Without that, forget it. This nation will always be lagging behind. Already we are 40 years behind. And so we cannot afford to continue on that tangent. But we need all the political players who are serious to govern this nation to know that it's not going to be game as usual again. They must be ready to hear the voice of the people who elect them to the office in the first place. We want a 24-hour economy. Forget about what Mr. John Mahama might have said or somebody might have supported. We want a 24-hour economy in all sectors of the economy. And we want strategic investments. We want at least some 3 major areas. We want the sugar factory to be back. We want Bonsa Tire to be back. We want Japan Textiles to be back so that we can create jobs.
You heard Austin Gami, who is a labor expert and consultant, speaking on the brain drain currently happening. Now, on the international front, millions of Nigerians are without electricity after the national grid was shut down as part of a general strike over the rising cost of living. The country has been plunged into darkness shortly after 0200 local time, when the union members prevented operators at the country's power control rooms from working and shut down electricity substations. Many flights have also been cancelled in the country's busiest airport in Lagos and in the capital Abuja, with passengers left stranded. Unions are demanding a huge increase in the minimum wage, saying workers cannot survive on the current rate of 30,000 naira, which is just $22 a month. The government is offering double this, but the security guard Malam Magajidi Gaba tells the BBC that this will not be enough to buy a 50-kilogram bag of rice, which he needs to feed his family each month. Nigerians unions under the umbrella of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are demanding that the minimum wage be increased to 494,000 naira, that is $369, which they say reflects the current economic realities. However, the government says accepting these demands will cripple the economy and lead to job losses because many businesses will not be able to pay their workers and would have to close. That is all the news we have for the morning bulletin here on Z 101.9 FM. Let's take a recap of the top stories. The New Patriotic Party to withdraw agents from vote transfer centers following Electoral Commission's directive Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia pledges constitutional review for economic focus if elected president, and security analyst Dr. Adam Bona proposes procurement of body armors for security officers to be deployed on election day following violence at EC office in Ofako. Please remember to follow our social media platforms on ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook and X, and also our website www.zmultimedia.com for more news updates. I am Saka Abdullahi. Jerry Ham continues with Zed in the Morning.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the new Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure and business platform.
In colors, he made their tiny wings. All things bright and beautiful. All creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful. The Lord God made them all. To the God who in his infinite wisdom created such a beautiful world for us, we say thank you. To our King who by his abundant mercies placed us on this beautiful earth for his own glory. Father, we say thank you. Good morning, good people from all over the world. It's Tuesday. It's June 4th. You're welcome to the morning show that is curated specially to give you a morning radio experience like none other. A show with all the right ingredients. I said a show with all the right ingredients to give you a broadcast equivalent of a 5-star Michelin rated meal. It's your show, people. Still exhilarating, still captivating, still fascinating. From the 22nd of January all through to today. Yeah, we're still taking on the issues that are of importance to you people. Issues you want answers to, but no one else is talking about. We talk to those at the center of the issues. To the specialists. To the subject matter experts. To the authorities. To the practitioners. I said those who know what they are talking about prefer to talk to us. It's still the House of Zion, people. It's still number 6 Anyete Street, right inside East Legon, Accra, Ghana, West Africa, Africa. It's still Z101.9 FM. It's Zed in the Morning. Yeah, I'm Jerry Home, captaining this ship all through to 9:55. In the first hour of the show, like we do, newspaper headlines and reviews. As a matter of fact, it's a news headlines and reviews, because we'll be doing online as well. Today's a Tuesday. It's June 4th. Mr. Elvis Daku is on his way to help me handle the news headlines and reviews. Taking us to 6:50 for Zed Sports, which would open up our second hour of the show. That's the business news at 7. Within the hours of 7 and all through to 7:55, it's top story. That's a segment where we bring you the top trending story of the day. We open it up, dissect it, and find out what the real issues are. Aquaba people. At 7:55, business briefs. It's a mini MBA lecture on wheels. It's a refresher course on wheels, turning your morning commuting to a learning experience. Now take us to 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock is Zed Talk. It's a big conversation. Bringing us to 8:55. Customer service and experience moment right here on Zed in the Morning. That will take us to 9 o'clock. In the last hour of the show. Today's a Tuesday. What are Tuesdays? Health and Wellness Tuesdays. Today we're talking hypertension. How to control it. This is your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. So if it's affecting your lifestyle, if it's impacting your business, if it is touching your leisure, Z101.9 FM has it covered. And you know, with Zed, you have the last word. Let's bring the show before God, people, and take it from there.
Let's celebrate, y'all. Celebrate, celebrate. Now come on, let's do what's this?
house in Texas. Mr. Boy, yes. Good morning, boss.
Good morning, good morning.
Mr. Elvis Daco is here.
Yes, this morning.
Today is June 4th.
Our newspapers are here. June 4th.
Yeah, today is June 4th.
June 4th. It's no longer.
Do the newspapers.
Part of our history this time round. So this morning the newspapers are out.
Yes.
And as usual, it is a Tuesday. So we don't have a lot like we do have on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But then the ones we have, we bring them to you. Start with the New Finder.
The New Finder.
4th edition of One Student, One Trade initiative launched. Fidelity Bank records 1.17 billion profit in 2023. NDC minority kicks against next generation Infraco 5G deal. And the big story says, time to counter unfair reports about the performance of African economies. This is Dr. Amin Anta speaking far away in Kenya. These are the key stories on the front page of the New Finder newspaper.
Okay, I have with me the new crusading guide. NHIS commences free dialysis support program. That's a page 10 story. Attorney General has not overstepped his boundaries. Professor Kwame Jan. Another story here is family rejects Afutiagbo as Katamanso chief. Chihini launches One Student, One Tree project is also a story on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. And ECG petition to relocate deadly transformer at Ashoma. The last story here is education is key to effective operation of non-profits. That's from Listowo Yesu Bukasen. That's coming from the front page of the New Crusading Guide.
I have the daily graphic, and the big story says, empower Ghanaians to own economy. That is the Ochi Hene speaking. One Student, One Trade initiative kickstarts Green Ghana Day. Fidelity Bank posts 1.17 billion profit for 2023. NDC, NPP disagree on ECG. NPP, NDC disagree on EC directive to withdraw agents from the voter transfer centers. And then graphic editor 23 others Annette. That is the daily graphic for today.
Okay, I have the Chronicle here. A couple of stories on the front page. 5G spectrum deal is illegal. That's from the Minority. Private property impedes expansion of Medina SDA Primary and JHS. Ochihini Jinapol launch One Student, One Tree initiative at Chebi. And then the big story, Baumia drops major hint. All MMDAs to get road construction equipment within the next few weeks. That's coming from the front page of the Chronicle.
I have the daily guide. I will train 1 million youth for digital jobs. That's Dr. Baumia speaking. Ochihini launches One Student, One Tree project. Lil Wayne in court over dangerous driving. Anti-LGBTQ case, lawyers file addresses in 4 weeks. And the big story says, NDC parliamentary candidate arrested over Kaswa stabbing. NDC parliamentary candidate arrested over Kaswa stabbing. These are the stories on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Okay, and I'll take also the Daybreak. Time to reduce presidential power, says Baumia. DNI Foundation support menstrual hygiene. Coup at Katamanso Ajinwe give Afutiagbo red card as chief. And then the other story here is Ochihini Jinapol launch One Student, One Tree initiative as Green Ghana 2024.
I have the Ghanaian Times. Transfer of votes for election 2024. EC, political parties lock horns as emergency IPAC meeting ends in deadlock. That is the main story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Green Ghana Day 2024. Ochihini Lands Ministry launched 4th One Student, One Tree initiative. Lil Wayne granted 50,000 bail over accident that killed 3-year-old boy. Dialysis treatment. Government to subsidize treatment for 18 to 59-year-olds. VIP announces. This is the Ghanaian Times for today.
Okay, and I also have here the Daily Dispatch. Talo contract allegations against the energy minister untrue. That's coming from an aide. Ghana must confirm position as beacon of democracy in West Africa. That's an envoy. And names of 508,000 businesses in Ghana to be struck off. That is a page 2 story, and it's coming from the office of the registrar of companies. That's the story.
I have the Daily Post. EC should maintain party agents in the ongoing voter transfer exercise. That is an advice from Professor Jampo. You will be very foolish to trust EC to transfer votes in your absence. Franklin Kujo to political parties. Minority reject government's 5G deal. And then the big one says Mahama warns EC against rigging plans with NPP. That is the Daily Post for this morning.
Okay, and I have here the Daily Statesman. The big story. Let's guard our environment. Ochehini charges youth. And nobody above prosecution. AG tells her to forcing. NPA, our officials cannot be held responsible for decision of tanker drivers. And then the last story on the front page of the Daily Statesman. PIAC calls for increase in Ghana's oil production.
The last paper I have this morning is the Anchor. And it says Lil Wayne charged with dangerous driving. Granted 50,000 bail. One Student 1-3 initiative takes off as Ochehini Lands Ministry launched the 4th edition. Government to implement e-gates at Kotoka International Airport. And the big story says, rotting in Sawam Government Hospital, roofing leaks. Koforia Regional Hospital, Akachi Municipal Others in distress. This is the Anchor for this morning.
Okay, so let me pick this last one from the Business and Financial Times. Fidelity Bank post strong 2023 performance. Regulators must stay ahead of the curve in financial market innovations. That's from the governor. Elembele farmers angry demonstrate against illegal activities on cocoa farms. And another one here is food commodities continue to soar in northern region. Before you come in with your pick for the morning, let me also pick a couple of them from zmultimedia.com. Time to counter unfair reports that is coming from the finance minister. Codeo backs EC's directive on withdrawal of party agents. That's also the homepage of zmultimedia.com. You can go there and find that out. On citynewsroom.com, current economic difficulties are global, not peculiar to Ghana. That's coming from the Vice President Bawumia. Let's go international. Pick 2 from the international scene. Al-Jazeera.com. UN piles pressure on Israel Hamas over ceasefire deal, urges UN support. So it's US piles pressure on Israel Hamas over ceasefire deal and urges UN support. And also Al Jazeera gives a live update on Indian election results, where Modi's BJP alliance ahead, but opposition fights on. And then last story, let's go to BBC.com. Also the live story here is early Indian election count shows Modi lead narrowing. That is a source of concern for the Hindu party, but let's see how it goes. Another story here talks about the billionaires rallying behind Trump after his conviction. Israel confirms death of 4 more hostages in Gaza. So yes, those are the major stories, both in print and online. Mr. Dako.
Yes, my first story, I want to start from the New Finder, and this one from the finance minister. Says Minister of Finance Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam has called for a revised perspective on the performance of African economies. He emphasized the necessity of countering the misinformation often reported by credit rating agencies regarding the economic performance of African countries on the continent. Speaking to journalists in Kenya, Dr. Adams stressed the importance of presenting the performance of African economies from the perspective of African countries. I think this issue is something that I think the President Akufo-Addo has also talked about it. Now the minister is talking about it. I think the whole of Africa talks about the issue. But the issue is that, see, as the finance minister has rightly said, see, when you look around the world, if you look at the way African economies are treated sometimes, you look at countries with worse ratings going to the markets to be able to raise funds at lower rates compared to African countries with better ratings, simply because it is an African country. there's no way you can tell me that the performance of Argentina's economy, Argentina should be able to go to the market and raise capital lower than many African countries. But that is what the evidence suggests. And I think that Africa as a continent should understand that a lot of these reports and credit rating institutions are doing their work the way they think is right. If Africa wants to tell its own story, the question is, where is the African rating agency? Has Africa been able to establish a credible rating agency to be able to rate the continent's economies based on the perspective of the African understanding of what our economies are performing? Clearly, you must understand that if we don't establish the institutions, we can complain, but at the end of the day, we, the African countries, go and subscribe to the Moody's, the S&Ps to rate us. They don't force us to join them, but because we want to please international investors, we know that these ratings, when they come out, have a lot of impact and influence on investors. So we subscribe to these agencies that rate our economies, and they rate our economies, and at the end of the day, we are the same people complaining. If we really want to tell the story from our perspective, then it's important that the Minister of Finance and all the African leaders understand that until we establish our own institutions, there are many things we will complain about and nothing will change. At the same time, this finance minister and all that we've had in this country, in African countries, they prefer to give information to international media houses rather than local media houses. You'll be chasing ministries and ministers, agencies for information about things that you believe that when you publish could actually project the country in a positive. They will never give it to you. They will go and give the information to a foreign media house, and when they write and put their slant on it, then these ministers and agents will now run back to you to say, oh, this agency has written this about Ghana, it's not a fair representation, they have put a slant on it, please try and help us to correct it. If they want that to stop, the Minister of Finance and all leaders on the continent must understand that it's when they decide to trust their local media house and give them the information for us to publish, so that the international media house will pick it from us. When we publish and put the kind of perspective we want to be put on, when they pick it from us, they will have no choice but to have more positive publications about us. But when you prefer to give the information to a foreign media house and they put their slant on it, you have no business complaining, because the media houses are here today because of the internet. Every media house is global. What the new finder will publish and will find its way onto Zed Multimedia Platform. Anybody in the world Googles it will find it.
Exactly.
Anybody want to read it will find it anywhere in the world to read. So they should also understand that mentality that they have, where they believe that they rather will prefer to give information to foreign media houses as against local media houses. And if you chase them for information, they'll be bluffing you. Then they should stop complaining. If they want that to stop, they should understand that they must begin to look at things differently. And I've said it over and over. Look, Al Jazeera Arabic has existed for over 100 years. But because of language barrier, it has not been popular until Al Jazeera English came onto the scene. Today, because of Al Jazeera English, we are now looking at information from a better perspective than the ones that the CNN and the BBCs and the Reuters have been giving to us. Okay. Why? The Middle East realized that they need to tell their own story from their own perspective. And when they realized that the Arabic language for Al Jazeera has been a barrier, they decided to create the English version of Al Jazeera, which today, if you talk to many people, they tell that, oh, I prefer to watch Al Jazeera. They put better perspectives on the issues. Until Africa recognizes that there must be a continental media organizations that are powerful, that will tell the story and the rest of the world will believe it, we will go nowhere. Because on the African continent, if you are asking for global continental powers in media, you will find none. It is the same Al Jazeera's, the Reuters, who have their African bureaus here. They are the ones we trust. They are the ones we deal with. But if we don't begin to put ourselves in line, we will make nowhere. When the Chinese closed their economy, their country that they are building their economy, the world did a lot of propaganda against them. By the time they realized that we've achieved economic success, but the West has succeeded in actually destroying our image through media publication and propaganda.
Of course.
What the Chinese government did is to set up multiple media houses. And now, why is it that today when you do a survey in Africa about China, African youth believe that China is more positive to Africa than America and Western countries? It's because they set up their own media house to tell their own stories. And therefore, until Africa set up its
own the narrative. Own it.
We cannot complain when we don't own the narrative. Where is the African multinational media organization that you can talk about. So for the minister to be complaining, the president has complained about this several times, and many African leaders have complained about this. They must understand that until they set up those institutions, it cannot happen in a vacuum. So if we cannot have an African continental media house, from online to television to print, everywhere that we say this is the media that is telling the story of Africa from the African perspective, we'll not get it there. We'll sit in this country, you'll be looking for an opportunity to interview your president in Africa. It will be difficult for you. You'll be there and you see the multinational from the Al Jazeera and BBC granted opportunity to come and interview your president. And you are sitting in your country and say, you have been looking for the opportunity to interview your president or your finance minister or somebody, and it's not difficult for you to get the opportunity. But if the application is coming from Al Jazeera, BBC, CNN, and it's once they see an international media, they are in a hurry to grant them interviews. They will never tell the story from your perspective because media is an ideological organization.
Yeah.
And every media house you see, everywhere you see, they have an ideology they are set out to promote. So if you don't have your own and you think that others will tell your story for you the way you want it, it will not happen. So I think that the finance minister's call, though very important, there must be steps that we must take in order to be able to make sure that the narrative from the African perspective will be understood from the African perspective. Anything less than that, we will just be shouting, we will not go anywhere.
We'll just be shouting and we will not go anywhere, said the man himself. Today I just decided to give him that free range. Unite we must, without necessarily sacrificing our sovereignties, big or small. We can, here and now, forge a political union based on defense, foreign affairs, and diplomacy, and a common citizenship, an African currency, an African monetary zone, an African central bank. We must unite in order to achieve the full liberation of our continent. We need a common defense system with an African high command to ensure the stability and security of Africa. 1963. Kwame Nkrumah.
And today, 2024,
he's been calling for this.
All these things that the founding fathers have talked about remain on paper. And then we sit there and complain that the Western countries...
Meanwhile, we have the people with the money to set up the media house.
We have all. But you must understand that, look, the BBC is not funded for nothing, though. Aside TV license, the government actually has a budget for BBC every year. Because they understand that their foreign relations arm, though they have whatever foreign missions in countries, the real power that will tell the story from the UK perspective is the BBC.
Until you own
the Germans realized and they set up the DW television. The Americans realized and they set up VOA. The powerful countries.
Let me ask you, Mr.
France understand they have Canal France International.
Canal France.
You see?
Let me ask you, what happened to UTNA?
Where is it? It's lost because they didn't get the support of the continent's government. All these institutions I've mentioned.
I'm sure some people are wondering what is UTNA.
They have powerful money coming from their government supporting their efforts.
Do you think some people in this country know what UTNA is?
Gen Zs, if you ask them, many of them have never heard of it before. And so these are the issues. And we need to look at this very well.
We need to
if you don't work on this, that's why I mentioned DWTV. DWTV, if you go to Germany in actual fact, you have to get a satellite to watch DWTV. Because it's considered as a foreign relations arm of the German government. So they broadcast to outside Germany, right? That's what they do. VOA. Canal France International. All these powerful countries understand that the message has to go to the media for people's minds to change about them.
So
they have set up the institution.
What you're effectively saying is, until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always be told
by the hunter.
Thank you very much.
And as I speak, the African continental free trade is going to struggle because there is no powerful media house telling the story. The story is scattered everywhere and individual man are supposed to tell. There must be a mouthpiece for the African continental free trade for it to work. For the people to be told stories on a daily basis to understand what AFTA stands for. So we put fine plans on paper, we make fine complaints, but the steps we need to take as a country or as a continent, we are not taking them.
Moving on. I'm picking this one from the Chronicle. All MMDAs to get road construction equipment. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has revealed that the government will receive a set of road equipment this June 2024 for distribution to all the districts in the country. Upon arrival, each of the 261 MMDAs would have its own set of road construction equipment, including graders and tipper trucks.
See, this is when they were burning excavators. Some of us were against it. Because if you are confiscating assets like excavators, which can be used to actually dig gutters along feeder roads in rural areas, and you think the best thing is to burn it, now you go and spend money to go and buy equipment. I think for me personally, I've supported this for so many years that every assembly need to have basic construction equipment so that those rough roads, when it deteriorates to a certain point, the assembly can just find fuel and just re-gravel it for mobility purpose. So I think that
I've actually gone to my assembly in my area and said, listen, this road is not good. Can I get some help? It's still not happening yet.
And even when you are in new areas in Accra, you can even go to assembly and say, if you have grader, we can buy fuel. And the assembly does not even have the grader. So now if you want to reshape your road in new settlements around Accra, you yourself have to go and hire the grader.
You must go private.
And you yourself might pay the person who is actually operating the grader, and you must buy fuel into it to be able to, after you have bought the gravel yourself as a community, contributed money to buy the gravel, you now have to pay for the equipment, pay for the person operating, and pay for fuel. Can you imagine if I can walk to my assembly and there's a grader there and it is free if I can buy the fuel? A lot of the bad roads we see in Accra would have been shaped and looking very good, because really, even without the bitumen on the road, if you reshape it regularly, the roads will always be more trouble. And so I think that this is a step in the right direction.
Fantastic.
That we need to talk about.
Let me give you one last one. This from the Daybreak. The 2024 flag bearer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Vice President Dr. Bawumia, has pledged to review the 1992 Constitution if elected president, with the aim of focusing more on economic development rather than solely on democratic stability. He has observed that while the 1992 Constitution was instrumental in stabilizing Ghana's democracy, this objective has been successfully achieved over the past 30 years. He's talking about reducing the powers of the president. He said this at...
Jerry, don't worry. We paid over $6.3 million for a constitutional review process to be undertaken. The report is gathering dust and nobody is interested in implementing. So such promises, sometimes you ask yourself, really do we mean them? Because from President Mills's time, we paid $6.3 million for a committee to go around the whole Ghana and write a huge report for us as to how to reduce the powers of the president, how we have to review our constitution to serve us better. And today is 2024. President Mills died in June 2012. We are in 2024. And he set up this committee before he even died. The committee completed its work, presented a report to President Mahama, and a white paper was issued. Up to today, not so. Sometimes when you hear politicians talk about this, you ask yourself,
it's not
do
just
we really mean it?
Yes.
Because really,
you will know,
state money has been used to produce a report.
You will know when
why are we not talking about implementing it, and we are now talking about all kinds of these things? We're building Kotoka, we are praising it. We are now being told that we are now building e-gates. In fact, I was at the airport last month, and I said, they are trying to do some construction, and I said that they are trying to put this electronic gate security. So I stood there and said, so we build the airport without e-gates. It's now that we are trying to build e-gates. Look at the money we spent to build the airport. It means that some of these things, the vision is not complete. Because I don't see how we build an airport just 5-6 years ago, and it doesn't have an electronic gate. We are now trying to add it to the airport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daku. As always, can't repress him. Coming up at 6:50, it is Samuel Apia with Z Sports.
Here's Mensah, this is positive. Williams, Kudos! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudos, the piranha from Guyana.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Hello, welcome to Z101.9. My name is Samuel Apia and I'm giving you the sports updates. We have more here this morning. We'll be doing more stories from the camp of the Black Stars. We'll be doing some European stories as well. Remember, Jose Mourinho has moved to Turkey. We'll bring you more updates on that. Remember, Chelsea have also appointed Leicester City manager Enzo Maresca. This and more here on Z101.9. So let's begin from the camp of the Black Stars, and where Otuado, who is the head coach of the Black Stars, has reflected on the importance of having Baba Rahman in a setup ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup games against Mali and Central African Republic. Remember, Baba Rahman, who has been on fine form for POAK in the Greek top flight, was dropped or was not part of the 26-man squad. Now, Otuado, addressing the press, discussed why Baba Rahman was not in his squad.
I don't think it's helpful, and in this case, I think we would have needed him very, very much. I had a long talk with him. I even wanted to fly to his place to talk to him, but he was very, very sure that he won't come at this moment of time. He won't come back, and it's very, very sad that it's our fault that he's not coming back.
Well, still on the camp of the Black Stars, remember, the Black Stars will depart for Bamako earlier today for the game against Mali on Thursday. Remember, the game is scheduled to kick off at 7 o'clock p.m. Now, Black Stars will hold their mandatory training at the Stade du 26 Mars on tomorrow before the game on Thursday. Now, let's do some Ghana Premier League news here on Z101.9. Over the weekend, there were some interesting results in the match day 32 games of the Ghana Premier League. Now, Hearts of Oak, remember, they defeated Nations FC by 2-0 on Friday. Now, on Saturday, Legon Cities at the Theatre of Dreams at Deo, they defeated Bofokotano by 1-0. Bichemi United defeated the Diana Stars by 1-0. Dreams FC, Karela United ended 1-0 in favor of Dreams FC. Asante Kotoko at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex lost to Great Olympics by 1-0. And Swatraman FC, they drew 1-1 with Accra Lions. Now, FC Samatex, who has won the Ghana Premier League for the first time in their history, defeated Bibiani Gold Stars by 1-0. Now, Mediama SC at the Akon Park lost by 1-0 to Accra Lions. And remember, Brecum Chelsea also at home defeated RTU by 2-0. Now, there is an outstanding game between Accra Great Olympics and Dreams FC at tomorrow at Accra Sports Stadium. And so let's do the Ghana Premier League table. Now, FC Samatex, they have been declared champions of the Ghana Premier League. They are on top, or they won the Ghana Premier League but with 58 points with 2 games to end the campaign. The Diana Stars, they sit second with 49 points. Mediama with 49 points. Nations FC with 48 points. That is the top 4. We have Accra Lions, Bichemi United, Brecum Chelsea, in Swatraman FC, Legon Cities, Asante Kotoko, Bibiani Gold Star, Hearts of Folk, Accra Lions, Hearts of Lions, Dreams FC, Karela United. This is how the relegation zone looks like. Karela United, Great Olympics, and Bofakotano, and then RTU, they find themselves in the relegation zone. There is a big one coming up this weekend between Hearts of Folk and then Great Olympics. It's one to watch out this weekend. Now, let's do more here on Z101 points. Now, let's do boxing. Now, Ghana's boxing team, the Black Bombers, the men and the Black Haters, the women failed to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympic at the World Qualifying Tournament in Bangkok in Thailand. Now, all 7 participating boxers failed to secure a ticket for the 2024 Olympic Games. That is a sad news for Ghana in the qualifying series for the 2024 Olympics series. Now let's do more some African news. And now FIFA has determined Guinea's captain Emiliano Insue, who ended the 2023 AFCON as the goal top scorer. According to FIFA, he was not eligible to play for the Equatorial Guinea national team after having played for the Spanish national team across several youth national teams as well. Now, according to FIFA, the Equatorial Football Association or Federation has been fined $164,000, and with an Insue being also slapped with 6 month ban. Now let's do some more foreign stories here on Z101.9. And Real Madrid have confirmed the transfer of Kylian Mbappe. At the end of the season, or before the end of the season, confirmed that he will be leaving Paris Saint-Germain. Now, according to Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe has signed a 5-year contract, and he will be joining the side next season. Now, nevertheless, Mbappe is expected to be Real Madrid's highest paid player, earning between 150 million euros to 20 million euros annually. Now let's do more, and now let's go to the camp of Arsenal, where Mikel Arteta, who is the head coach of the side, has reflected on losing the Premier League title to his boss, to his former boss, Pep Guardiola. Listen to Mikel Arteta.
Season, right up to the last minutes of the last day, especially when we are fighting for the Premier League. So yeah, I think we should be very proud of what we've done throughout the season, both in European competition and the Premier League, but as well that feeling of being disappointed and not having the Premier League in our hands it is painful still.
And that is Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta. Let's do more. And Jose Mourinho received an enthusiastic reception from Fenerbahce fans after being introduced as the new club head coach on Sunday. Now, the Portuguese manager signed his contract in front of an excited fans at the Salakugru Stadium alongside President of the club, Ali Koch. Now, Jose Mourinho reflected on why he chose to sign for Fenerbahce.
To play to win. Ambition is to feel the heat. Ambition is to feel the pressure of you have to win every match if you want to be champion. And this is the reality of Fenerbahce. For me, Fenerbahce means ambition. They have a project as a club. Now I have to say we have a project as a club. Our fans, they have their dreams, and that for me to accept it means ambition, means that I'm not in my comfort zone.
Now, that is former Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Manchester United head coach Jose Mourinho. Now, let's do more from the camp of Chelsea, where Chelsea on Monday have confirmed the appointment of Enzo Maresca as the head coach of the side. Now, the 44-year-old Italian arrives from Leicester City to replace Mauricio Pochettino, who left Chelsea on mutual consent following the conclusion of last season. Now, Maresca has signed a 5-year contract with an option of additional year. Now, according to Chelsea, this is the backroom staff of Enzo Maresca. Now, the backroom staff include former Chelsea goalkeeper Willy Caballero and Danny Walker, Michel Di Bernardin, Marco Alvarez, Javi Molina, and then Robert Vitiello. And now, according to the club, Bernardo Cueva has joined the club from Brentford as the set piece head coach. And so that is the camp of from Chelsea. Now remember, there will be more sports updates on the midday news, and so make time for that. And for more sports updates, you can visit zmultimedia.com/sports. My name is Samuel Apia. We'll be back on midday. Bye bye.
The Korean joy did not last for long.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon, a new beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Z101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Z TV and the innovative realms of Z Digital capital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment here on Zed in the Morning. Coming up, Internal Audit Agency Director General calls for greater attention to Ghana's internal audit system. AFDB revises Ghana's growth rate upwards and is predicting robust economic performance. And on the international front, British Bank accused of helping to fund terrorists. I am Saka Abdullahi. Let's begin. Director General of the Internal Audit Agency, Dr. Eric Odro-Osai, is pushing for the strengthening of Ghana's internal audit system to better secure the country's public finances and deal with corruption in the public sector. According to Dr. Osai, internal auditors have the task of evaluating and reporting on the soundness and application of financial controls, the effectiveness of risk management and governance processes, and providing assurance on the efficiency, effectiveness, and economy of programs and operations. He justified that the need for increased attention to be given to empowering the internal audit system to function better.
I think as a country, gotten it all wrong. We all realize that throughout the discussions, we're talking about public financial management, from planning to auditing, internal audit. Who monitors how the accountability framework is being implemented? From planning to budgeting to accounting, auditing starts with internal audit and the control environment. I think all these years, we have overly concentrated on the post approach, where we get the external auditors coming in after the harm has been caused, instead of us strengthening the control system. But in the scheme of affairs, when it comes to supreme audit institutions, we look at two institutions: the external auditor, which is the Ghana Audit Service, and then the internal auditor, who is responsible for the control system. So the audit service work, the internal auditor's work comes in before the external auditor, during the external auditor, and after the external auditor has done his work, it takes the internal auditor to ensure that the recommendations are implemented. Until we change the narrative and go back to basics to strengthen the control systems, empower the internal auditors to be able to prevent corruption, to be able to prevent the irregularities, to be able to ensure that they hold duty bearers accountable, this business will not work. When you look at the entire PFM landscape, the emphasis are not even the same. We sit here and we are talking about accountability. Who cares about how we do our planning? Who cares about the connection between the plans and the budgets? Who then cares about even the procurement? Is the internal auditor. The internal auditor is the only individual who runs across everything. And the question is, what is the legislative framework? What is the capacity? What is the motivation? How much have we invested in internal auditing and control systems? My point is, let us change the narrative. Let us go back to basics. Let us invest more in strengthening the control systems. Let us empower the internal auditors so that they would be able to strengthen the control system and monitor the accountability system and report on it.
Now, Dr. Osai also called for a review of research findings which fail to place high premium on the law, but rather standards.
Also, the issue of gaps. That is the difference between laws, constitutions, and intosai. Intosais are standards. And when you are implementing standards, country laws and constitutions override accounting standards. So maybe you may have to look at the findings again. Our law overrides standards. And currently in Ghana, the internal audit system has been benchmarked with the global internal audit standards. This year, January, the Institute of Internal Audits Global issued a new global internal audit standard. Ghana is among the first countries to adopt the global internal audit standard so that we'll be able to strengthen the control systems. So the amendment of our laws to reflect the intosai, you need to look at it again. I also think that we should give some credit to Ghana Audit Service, because in recent times, they have been doing a lot more qualitative auditing. That is the performance audit and compliance audit. But when we talk about compliance audit, it is more of an internal audit work than an external audit work. Because if we make sure that they are compliant, Ghana Audit Service will have little to do.
That was the Director General of Internal Audit System, Dr. Eric Odro-Osai. Now, the African Development Bank, AFDB, has revised Ghana's growth rate for 2024 to 3.4%, up from government's 2.8%, which is also endorsed by the International Monetary Fund. The African Bank also projected 4.3% growth rate for Ghana for 2025. Ghana's economy grew at 2.9% in 2023 against a target of 1.3%. According to the AFDB, the robust growth for 2024 and beyond will be driven by strong performance in the industry and services sectors on the supply side and increased private consumption and investment on the demand side. The AFDB, however, cautioned that the outlook was not without risks. These include the impact of fiscal consolidation measures under the post-COVID program for economic growth, the ongoing effect of the Russian invasion in Ukraine, limited access to finance and foreign exchange, and broader global macroeconomic shocks. Prudent macroeconomic management, the AFDB notes, will be crucial in mitigating these risks. Now, let's move on to the financial markets, where the cedi experienced further depreciation against the euro and British pound sterling this week, while maintaining stability against the US dollar. In contrast, the foreign exchange market, the Ghana Stock Exchange, the Ghana Stock Exchange began the week on a positive note, with key indices showing upward movements. Let's hear from Tessa Capital.
Welcome to a recap of the markets, brought to you by Tessa Capital Limited. The Ghanaian stock market kicked off this week's trading session with an upward movement in its benchmark indices. The GSE Composite Index appreciated by 3.9 points, representing 0.10%, closing at 3,757.59 points, with a year-to-date return of 20.04%. The Financial Stock Index advanced by 7.36 points, representing 0.36%, to finish at 2,060.06 points. Market capitalization saw a 0.07% increase, reaching 84.07 billion cedis. GCB was the sole advancer of the day, with its share price rising by 3.51% to close at 4.72 pesos. Market activity surged significantly, increasing by over 990% during the session. A total of 149,068 shares, valued at 633,413 cedis and 68 pesos, were traded. GCB was the most actively traded stock, representing 84.29% of the total volume traded. During the day's forex session, the Ghanaian cedi depreciated against the British pound and the euro, while maintaining stable values against the US dollar. The cedi weakened by 0.37% against the pound and by 0.27% against the euro. According to the mid-rates provided by the Bank of Ghana, the cedi closed at 14 cedis 12 pesos per US dollar, 18 cedis 6 pesos per British pound, and 15 cedis 37 pesos per euro. This brings our review to an end, and from all of us at Tessa Capital, make it a great day. Visit us online at tessacapital.com or call us on 050-154-6859 for more information. Tessa Capital, grow your wealth.
Those updates were brought to you by Tessa Capital, which is a leading financial institution in Ghana. Now, on the international front, according to U.S. court papers, a British bank that has escaped prosecution for money laundering was involved in carrying out billions of dollars of transactions for funders of terrorist groups. Standard Chartered, one of UK's largest banks, avoided prosecution by the U.S. Department of Justice after Lord Cameron's government intervened on its behalf in 2012. New documents filed to a New York court claim that thousands of transactions worth more than $100 billion were carried out by the bank from 2008 to 2013 in breach of sanctions against Iran. An independent expert has identified $9.6 billion of foreign exchange transactions with individuals and companies designated by the U.S. government as funding terrorist groups including Hezbollah, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban. In a statement, the bank said it disputes the whistleblower's claims, saying their previous allegations had been thoroughly discredited by the U.S. authorities. Standard Chartered was publicly accused of falsifying transaction data on SWIFT, an international payment system used by thousands of financial institutions to move billions of dollars through its New York branch on behalf of sanctioned entities such as the Central Bank of Iran. But in September 2012, George Osborne, then Chancellor in Lord Cameron's government, secretly intervened on the bank's behalf. 3 months later, the U.S. Department of Justice decided not to prosecute the British Bank. That is all we have for the business news this morning. But before I go, let's take a recap of the top stories. Internal Audit Agency Director General calls for greater attention to Ghana's internal audit system. AFDB revises Ghana's growth rate upwards and is predicting robust economic performance. And on the international front, British Bank accused of helping to fund terrorists. I am Saka Abdullahi. Jerry Ham continues with the show.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
In the second half of the show, it's top story time. What do we have for top story today? Today we're talking roads. Over the years, road network in Ghana has improved and developed. That is a fact. However, are we where we're supposed to be? But that could all change if the story we have today is something to go by. Why? Because the Vice President has revealed that the government will receive a set of road equipment this June for distribution to all the districts in the country. That will be massive. You know, there are areas that would never have seen traffic if all the roads were motorable. Yeah, today we're talking roads as part of top story. But before that, let's do some announcements. You know, today money is difficult to come by. That's what's said. That things are that tough. So it is important that when you're spending money and spending money well, right? That is why when you're going to buy something, make sure you buy the trusted and time-tested brands that the majority endorses. Go for what everybody endorses. Don't just go buy something because it's cheaper. Because cheaper in the long run can be more expensive. Cheap. Cost. Yes, right. That's what it said. So when it comes to water storage tanks in Ghana, the name we all know is Polytank. It has been with us for over 30 years and has been trusted by all these generations. It's the first, it's the best, it's certainly the original. Polytank, so original Every other tank is called a poly tank. That's how original poly tank is. So whenever you think of storing water, make no mistakes. Go for guaranteed quality. Choose poly tank. Poly tank near Papa Nunye. And he said poly tank does not request for mobile payment online. I need to stress that. I can't stress that enough. It's very, very important. When you're going to buy a poly tank and maybe you went online and you're going to purchase a poly tank and someone said, okay, this and this is what we're going to do, by send us Momo. Please don't send a Momo. Polytank says they don't. Polytank says they don't request Momo payment online. So please, they don't do Momo payment online. That is just by the way. It's important that you know still. Also, close your eyes and imagine a place that is so beautiful, a place that is so well built, a place that is so well crafted and designed for your leisure. A place where if you happen to own a property there, you will feel so good about it. What's this place I'm talking about? It's a place that is so well architectured, tree-lined streets and friendly neighborhood with friendly neighbors. All this can come to pass if you listen to what I'm saying. What am I saying? Your number one leading private real estate company of the year, Lakeside Estate, is giving you the golden opportunity to become a homeowner at Lakeside Hills, a place so safe and secure. You get a sense of calm and ease, fostering a family-friendly neighborhood. There are various house types you can also choose from when you get to Lakeside Hills. They have the 2 bedrooms detached standard, 2 bedroom detached deluxe, 3 bedrooms detached, 3 bedrooms detached with boys quarters, and 4 bedroom story executive. All this available at Lakeside Hills. You can choose whatever meets your budget. To book a viewing and sales assistance, call 0204 775 040. Yes, 0204 775 040. You can also get 0501 418 622. 0501 418 622. Then there is 0204 775 042. 0204 775 042. You can visit alternatively lakesideestate.com, or you can also follow them on all social media platforms. Their handle is at lakeside_estate. For more details, life is beautiful at Lakeside Hills. Lakeside Hills, where you can live your best life. And this is brought to you by the CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year winner, 3 times winner, that is, and then the Greater Overall Real Estate Company of the Year 2023, Lakeside Hills. Lakeside Hills, where you can live your best life. I did not tell you, but I still need reminding you that you can enjoy the best shows on Lifestyle, Leisure and Business, LLB, Lifestyle, Leisure and Business, right here on your LLB radio. Lifestyle, Leisure and Business, Z101.9 FM. Make it part of your lifestyle from morning till evening. At morning, 5 o'clock, keep your dial here. Why? Because at 5 a.m. every Monday to Friday, Pastor Joshua N.S.T. comes your way with morning blessings. It's 5 a.m. Mondays to Friday. Morning blessings. He sends you into the presence of God for you to start your day and start it well. Morning blessings ends at 5:30, and right after that, don't touch that dial. Don't even leave the set. Why? Because at 5:30, Dr. Mensah Otabil comes your way with Living Word with Dr. Mensah Otabil. 5:30 a.m. daily, Mondays to Fridays, right here on Z101.9 FM. Then right after that, 5:55, that's when Living Word comes to an end. Yours truly comes in with a crew, and we do Zed in the morning all through to 9:55, 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, NYA the brand comes up. Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Brighter Side, that's the name of the show, and the hostess with the mostess is NYA the brand. She takes you through your breakfast and your late breakfast, your brunch and your lunch, and all that is between. So yes, join NYA the brand. She comes your way with the Brighter Side, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. On Tuesdays, every Tuesday, right here on Z101.9 FM. I have a story to tell with Honorable Fritz Baffor. He's here interviewing some amazing people doing amazing stuff. Join him. It's Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's an hour's show. I have a story to tell. Honorable Fritz Baffor brings you that as well. And then 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Monday to Friday. It's Oforiwoyo and Ngozi Boateng, the gang coming your way with Highway 1019. It's a drive time show that puts a smile on your face. Well, right after a hard day's work, you want to be smiling with these beautiful ladies as they take you home. Z101.9 FM, bringing you the very best in lifestyle, leisure, and business radio right here. And then on weekends, we don't leave you out on weekends as well. Every Saturday, 8 a.m., Professor Stephen Adai comes your way with a theme, Abundant Living. It's time with Professor Stephen Adai. Saturday, and it's Z101.9 FM. Yeah. And then on Sundays, DDM, David Dakwa with all his beard and in all his glory, comes your way with Z Gospel Groove. It's with DDM every Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Takes you to church and brings you back. But if your church closes late, you might miss him. But don't worry, after 10 a.m., you are not left out on Sundays. Why? Because the man they call the legend, the king of country, the one we grew up listening to, TAF for long, Tommy Anna Forsen for short, comes your way with Country Express. It's Sundays right after the gospel show, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And because it's nice, we do it twice in a week. Yes, he comes your way also on Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's Country Express with Tommy Anna Forsen right here on Z101.9 FM. Yeah, it's top story time. Tractor and equipment things are coming. There are going to be tractors, graders. Our roads are going to be better. Yay. Yeah, but we'll be doing that right after we take something from the man they call the legend, Abrantia himself, Akwada Wiswa. There is a story carried in the Chronicle today. It's something to do with a statement made by the Vice President during a meeting with the Central Regional House of Chiefs. And he spoke about the fact that government was going to receive a set of road equipment this June for distribution to all the districts. And he said upon arrival, each of the 261 MMDAs would have its own set of road construction equipment, including graders and tipper trucks. First of all, are you aware, as someone in the space, of an arrangement like this, sir?
Well, we have to refer to the budget. If we have something of that sort in the budget. I have not seen anything in the budget. And I will be surprised as to when the policy direction on road construction was changed and then given back to the district assemblies. Because for about 10 years now, roads are constructed from central government. No district has a budget for road construction. So I am at a loss as to when we had a policy change, and now we are reversing road construction back to the MMDAs. I'm surprised.
Okay, sir. But if it were to be true, and we have no cause to doubt it, what are the...
I have a cause to doubt it. So if you say you don't have, I don't know where you are coming from. Well, I just told you that let's refer to the budget. If we have that money sitting somewhere in the budget saying that we're going to purchase these equipment and hand them over to the assemblies. I didn't see that in any of the budget. Whether 2 years rollover this year, I have never seen anything of that sort.
Could it be an extra budgetary consideration, sir?
So the money coming from where?
But would the
Did we buy them on credit to pay next 100 years or what?
Mr. Amonkota, I understand your point perfectly clear.
So even if it is true, where are the technical people at the various districts to work on these things? Where are they? Are we now going to engage road engineers and all that?
Actually, the story continues to say that Dr. Baumia indicated that the government would task the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces to work with the district with regards to the road construction.
Can you imagine? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? I am not sure of what is happening because it is not stated anywhere. As I said, you need to have a budget to do all these things. It is not a need. I only heard of some amount of money for reshaping, for fixing of potholes in the budget. And if that is what has turned into this, because somebody saw Burkina Faso purchasing Greek equipment, so they also want to tell us that they have purchased construction equipment, I am surprised anyway. We don't do things like that. We have to find allocation in the budget. I only saw reshaping of roads and fixing of potholes, and some amount of money was put down for that, for all the various district assemblies. So now if it has turned into proper road construction, then we are talking something different. Let's watch it carefully and do proper analysis, because I have repeated here that I saw potholes fixing and reshaping of roads. That has nothing to do with construction of roads.
But if it were, let me still continue. It said the government will provide the funds for fuel, sand, and stones to aid in the construction of the roads in the various districts. The roads are key, but we're also bringing in a massive amount of road equipment for every district in the country. Every district will get a grader, roller, pickup truck, tipper truck, and water tanker just to be able to make them road motorable across every district.
Yes, that has nothing to do with road construction. This is reshaping and fixing of potholes and making the road more travel. We have not constructed roads. You are making roads more travel for easy usage of drivers. That is all. Nobody should be smarter than the system. If you want to construct road, we know you are constructing 200-kilometer road. But if you are reshaping it and making it more travel, don't confuse the two.
You think this is something to do with semantics, or is a deliberate attempt to?
It is a deliberate attempt. That is the hallmark of the vice president. I mean, don't throw dust into the eyes of the people. We are not constructing roads. We are reshaping and fixing of potholes. Yes, you can bring the whole military to come and assist in doing that. Who cares? That's two different things. You are constructing road, 300-kilometer road, 20-kilometer road. That's fine. But if you are reshaping roads to make it more travel for people, drivers, and for the comfort of the people, say it, that you are reshaping and fixing of potholes, so you can bring all the military to come and assist in all various district assemblies. I don't have a problem on that.
Could it be?
But we shouldn't have it at the back of our mind that we are constructing roads. That's two different things. Reshaping and fixing of potholes is not construction of roads.
Okay, granted, sir. But could it be the newspaper that is reporting?
It is not the newspaper. They are skewing it for people to get confused. From day one, I told you I saw a figure. It has 1.5 billion or some figure. I've forgotten, but it's around 1 15 million something. I saw it somewhere in the constitution, somewhere that we're going to use it to fix, do potholes on our roads. So now they are now shaping it into some form of reshaping of roads, redoing of potholes, and that kind of thing. Now somebody has brought a video where equipment from some other country has been brought in, and everybody seems to be confused about where are the equipment sitting in the first place.
The story didn't say that, Mr. Mongote.
No, I've seen a video on the social media, if you have not seen it, where somebody is inspecting some equipment, rollers and this. I've seen it, excavators and all that. I've seen it somewhere. And so now it is fitting into this story. Okay. If somebody has sat down and planning a whole, story around a party business. This is party, road party that they are going to do. And we shouldn't confuse ourselves that we are going to construct roads. This is what I'm saying. But we don't have a budget for that. The assemblies don't have capacity to construct roads. They can only do patch work on the roads. Period.
Okay, well noted. But let's come to the substantive issue of road construction. If the assemblies had the capacity, or they should be given the capacity, would that be a better policy direction than what is currently pertaining, sir?
Well, I don't know when we can start dreaming about that, because their budget is not enough. They are supposed to generate their budget and then work on them. Even with common fund, it is not even coming. So road fund is a huge capital investment. The assemblies, they are saying that they don't even have the capacity to it's a non-starter. Because then we have to redo all the policy again and rethink through. Because we are looking at a whole chunk of money, a huge money, sending them these monies to the various districts, which is unacceptable for now. Because we don't have the funds. I don't know who is dreaming of bringing this back. The assemblies, yes, 10, 12 years ago, they were constructing, the feeder roads were under the assemblies, and they were constructing, some of them acquired equipment and all that. But we abandoned that and sent everything to the roads and Ministry of Roads and Highways. So if we want to bring it back, I wonder how we're going to do it.
Well
this budget, you can check from the finance department of the assemblies. You cannot even, I don't know which assembly that can engage a project that can spend more than 2 million Ghana cedis. Maybe because that will have to go to the regional tender, and even some amount will have to even hit national central government before you can even execute it. So, and a road, you know how much it costs to fix a 10-kilometer road. We don't have that capacity. No, we don't have. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
For assemblies to engage road contractors, for them to, let's say, fix a 30-kilometer road under the assembly's budget, how is that going to be possible?
And if the budget is made available?
By who?
The government.
At this stage, when the economy is dancing, Panugo, what are you talking about, my brother? Which part of, how are we going to do that? Are we going to go back to the Bank of Ghana to print more money? How are we going to do that? Where is the money sitting?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mokote, for joining us with your views. I still want to believe that probably this is the meaning is lost in translation, and that maybe the vice president
you
never.
You can believe whatever you want to believe. People were made to believe that each constituency was going to get $1 million. Where is that money? So you can believe it. Continue believing it, and let's see if the assemblies can construct even a 10-kilometer road. If it is reshaping, I don't have a problem. If it is about patching potholes, I don't have a problem. But nobody should play smart and confuse the people.
Thank you very much. Mr. Monkota is a local governance expert, and you heard his views on the trending story of the road construction equipment and what they are going to be used for. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Yeah, so is it for just patching or for real construction? Yeah, someone is saying that even patching of roads is also a bit of road construction. Yeah, but that's the top story. We'll try and get an MCE or a DCE to know if they are actually expecting these equipment and what they're actually going to be using them for. Yeah, still Zed in the morning. My name is Jerry Helm. Yeah, it's a good morning. Don't forget, in the second half of the show is ZTech, and today on ZTech, we're talking to our aviation partner, Aviation Ghana. They're currently at the IATA conference in Dubai. We'll find out what is happening in the airspace over our heads. That will be coming up between the hours of 8 and 8:55. And then don't forget, in the final hour of the show, today being a Tuesday, it's a health and wellness Tuesday. Today we're talking about controlling high blood pressure, hypertension. How do we control it? And we will have in the studios Dr. Henrietta Norkai Okrand. She's a family physician specialist from UGMC, the University of Ghana Medical Center. She'll be joining us for us to talk about how to control high blood pressure, that's hypertension. That is on Health and Wellness Tuesday right here on Zed in the Morning.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Yeah, it's Z 101.9 FM.
House of Zion, number 6, Anyete Street, East Legon, Accra. Yeah, but before we go into the skies, we're still talking the ground. And what's on the ground? On the ground are roads, massive road rehabilitation project. Per the government's decision to undertake the rehabilitation of major roads in the country. So this is rehabilitation, and that's why Mr. Monkote is saying rehabilitation should not be equated, or it shouldn't be synonymous with road construction. That's all he was trying to say. The following are the number of equipment per district: 1 each, and municipal assembly 2 each. Tipper truck, backhoe, tanker, roller, grader, concrete mixer. MMDCEs shall receive 1 pickup vehicle. They also have aggregates as fuel, sand, cash for operations. Municipalities will receive 20% more. Definitely, what it means is that the municipal will get more, 20% more than what a district will get. The region will be segregated into 3 districts, and it shall receive wheel loader, excavator, low bed. For each machine, there will be 2 machine operators. There will be 1 assistant. They will work with the PC to recruit the drivers per constituency. There shall be a composed committee, both chaired by the MMDCEs. There will be a management committee, then there will be a technical committee. Each MMDA will receive a pickup for works stroke roads department as well. MMDs are to select safe locations subject to approval for keeping all equipment. MMDCs has to work with party chairs, PCs or MPs for a successful project implementation. Let's work on this with speed, as your timely response is crucial. So there is a massive road rehabilitation project, and so it is possible that this is what the vice president is talking about, the rehabilitation or construction. But probably, like I said to Mr. Monkote, this things can be lost in translation, and that could be it. That is my personal stance, though. But like it happened, we can agree to disagree. But this is still Zed in the morning.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this very story, especially with the angle of the Army Corps coming in? That is the 48th Engineers Regiment coming in to work with the MMDCs to ensure that all these things go well. What are your thoughts on this very top story for today? 0544-321019, 0544-321019. That's the line you can call, or you can also send a WhatsApp via that line, 0544-321019, and then 0303-956-641. You can also call that line. It will come straight into the studio so that we'll have a good discussion about what is happening in the area of the road rehabilitation in your district. Call. You can also follow us on our social media handles on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's at ZFMGH. That's a handle, at then ZEDFMGH. On TikTok and YouTube is at Z Multimedia. Yes, Z Multimedia. That's TikTok and YouTube. And the website is zmultimedia.com. You can go there. It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform, zmultimedia.com. You can go there for us to just drop your comments there. We'll read it for you. But you can also call. Let us know your mind. Also, you can call You can also send a message in advance for the conversation we're having on health and wellness today, which is controlling high blood pressure, hypertension. It's at 9 a.m. today, the 4th of June. We're talking to a family physician specialist from the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Henrietta Nokai Okran. She'll be talking to us about controlling high blood pressure. We'll be strict on high blood pressure today on Health and Wellness Tuesdays. Don't forget, this is still Zed in the morning. We're talking roads before we go into the skies to talk IATA. And I also need to remind you quickly that at 7:55, which is just 3 minutes away, we're going into Business Briefs, your favorite MBA on wheels. Like it's a mini MBA on wheels. Business Briefs comes to you every single Monday to Friday right here on Zed in the morning. It's just to ensure that you always at the cutting edge of thinking and having the best learning experiences.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Don't forget, the very best of lifestyle, leisure, and business radio is here. Nowhere else. It's Z101.9 FM. If it is lifestyle, if it is leisure, if it is business, yes, we have it on business, but not forgetting lifestyle and leisure, because lifestyle and leisure are all tied to business. So yes, if you want the very best, this is where you should stay. With Z, don't forget you have the last word. Yes, it's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio, Z101.9 FM. Top story is wrapping up right about now, and then we'll be going straight into business briefs here on Zed in the morning. Thank you so much for joining us for the second hour of the show. Coming up is the third and the final hour. In the third hour, we're going IATA. They are in the airs. We want to find out what's happening at that very event. It's exciting. I'm being told there are new developments in the airspace. We'll be talking to Aviation Ghana. The chief executive himself is in Dubai. He'll be picking our call so that we have a conversation on IATA. That is coming up right after Business Briefs right here on Zed in the morning.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Z101.9 FM.
Yeah, if you've been following us the whole of the past 2 weeks, we've been dealing with marketing as part of our business brief sessions. We're dealing with marketing, and the day before we spoke about this aspect of marketing where we are talking about framing. And we said framing is being selective in the kind of conversations or the kind of message you send to your target audience. You don't want to give them everything. And we remember yesterday we said framing is actually a natural part of our conversation. When you're telling somebody a story or something you've gone through, you don't tell the person everything. You select the parts that are important. That is what we call framing. And we're saying that framing also happens in marketing. Or framing is important. It's very important. So it must happen in the marketing space. So today we're going on with the issue of marketing. Today we're talking freebies. Yesterday was framing. Today is freebies. What are freebies? If you want to attract the attention of your target audience, if you want your target market to get interested in what you are offering, one of the most valuable ways, or one of the quickest ways you can do that, is actually to give something of value away for free. People love freebies. That is why if you're scrolling through your mail and you see a big headline, free, 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 you will stop. Why? Because we all like free stuff. So you can use that as a matter of fact to help in your marketing. Try and look for something that will not cost you so much, but you can do that, especially if you are entering the market for the first time. Try and get something that is of value that you can give out for free without breaking the bank. Something that is of value that you can give out for free without breaking the bank. Why is that important? First of all, it must be of value, otherwise the customers will not appreciate it, or your target audience will not even appreciate what you're giving them. If it is not of value, who cares? And it will feel like an insult if you give your target audience something that is not of value. Assuming you open a clothing shop and you want to sell suits, you could start by giving people free pocket square. That's a freebie. It won't cost you too much, but it will give people that sense of, I got something for free from these guys. So people love the promise of getting something for nothing. So give them something for free. Offers of free value continue to exist because they work. The free value is subsidized by the additional sales that are made because of the offer. Do you get it? So if you give them free pocket square, you can charge the cost of the pocket square onto the suit when they come in to buy, right? More often than not, offering genuine free value is a quick and effective way to attract attention. So think about that. It's a very quick and effective way. By giving your prospects something useful at no cost upfront, you earn their attention and give your potential customers a chance to actually experience the value you provide. When done well, this strategy will net you sales you wouldn't have made otherwise. So giving free value attracts attention, but always remember that attention alone doesn't pay the bills. So attention is necessary. However, make sure that you are attracting paying customers. Just because I said go and give free pocket square, don't go stand by the roadside and give it for free. Give it to people who have the potential to come into the shop to buy your suits. That's the marketing advice for today. For best results, focus on giving away free value that is likely to attract real paying customers. What is the wise saying for today? To charge nobody nothing is a guarantee of no profit. Getting attention is not the same as getting paid. So get attention, but make sure that you're getting paid as well. This is Business Briefs right here on Zed in the Morning. It's 8 a.m.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
101.9 FM.
Mema Airlines, as well as IATA AGM level strategic partners, international and regional associations, leading manufacturers, industry suppliers, and media as well. Luckily for us, being Z101.9 FM, we have an inside man in Dubai right away who is ready to talk to us on what is happening in this very huge event concerning the airlines and the transport up above our heads. Mr. Dominic Andor is the director and also the chief executive of Aviation Ghana. He's going to tell us what is happening at the International Air Transport Association IATA conference, and then also the summit. It's actually a summit. It's an AGM and a summit as well. This is still Zed in the morning. Yeah, this is Zed Talk Space. We want to talk to Dominic Andor about the 80th IATA Annual General Meeting and World Air Transport Summit. We want to find out what is going on there, how Ghana comes in, whether we should be concerned, whether Ghana should be involved at all, and all that, the conversations. You remember we spoke to him before he left, and so he'll be talking to us right here on Z101.9 FM. It's still Z Talk.
Zed 101.9 FM.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the new Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation. Hello, good morning, sir. Yeah, we'll be trying to get him. We'll be bringing him back. Good morning, Mr. Dominic Andor.
Good morning, sir. Hello, good morning, Mr. Dominic Ando. A bit of a background whilst you're waiting to get through to Dubai. International Air Transport Association is a trade association of the world airlines, founded in 1945. So they are huge. Some have even described IATA as a cartel, that if you are not part of them, you would struggle. So it is such that if you want to operate anything to do with air travel, you must be a member of IATA.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Yeah, still on Z 101.9 FM. Yes, whilst we're trying to resolve the technical issues, let's take a music break. And when we come back, we'll still go to Dubai and talk to Mr. Dominic Ando.
Natural music.
pleasure is mine too.
So this morning we were touching on a story that has generated a bit of let's say interest, if I could say that, when the vice president has revealed that government is set to receive a set of road equipment this very month of June, and it's for distribution to all districts in the country. And he said that upon arrival, these 261 MMDAs would have its own set of road construction equipment, including graders and tipper trucks. First of all, is this something that the chamber is aware of?
Thank you very much. We have had to see some videos circulating, purporting to be equipment. We saw some Chinese people in the background purporting to be equipment going to be brought to Ghana to be given to MMDA. So yes, we have seen a video. We do not know the source though. So we are not too surprised what the vice president is saying.
Some have raised concern about the fact that this was nowhere in the budget. Is this something that you have a concern about as well?
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, it is completely a propaganda piece, nothing less, nothing more. Like you rightly said, there was no provision in the budget for the Ministry of Local Government to use to procure, to give to the MMDA. Let's just put that aside. When they talk about equipment, let's not forget that we have the Department of Feeder Roads, we have the Department of Urban Roads. All these departments are today under the MMDA, but their budget and everything is still not being controlled by the MMDA. So when we look at the local government entities or the district assemblies, as we call them, they do not even have the financial wherewithal to go into road construction themselves. And that is why over the years, what has been done by the urban roads and the feeder roads, when it comes to the district assembly, that within the area, it's about road patching and the grading of roads. So when you talk about construction, my understanding is that it is going to be a full complement of equipment to be doing construction. But what we saw in the video just had graders to be grading roads. So until and unless those equipment come, the vice president is talking about come, and we see a full complement of equipment given to the MMDA to undertake construction, then we can also look at the other side of where the finances are going to come from. So for me, the vice president has spoken. He has had a lot of credibility issues. So as I speak to you, I do not trust what he has said until those equipment are delivered to the assembly. They will be able to see and understand the compliment that has been given. Because when you say road construction is holistic. So it means that you need a full set of equipment to construct roads. You need payloaders, you need graders, you need excavators, you need tipper trucks and all those things. So those are the complements that will make up equipment to do construction. So like I said, I do not trust the vice president on this one until I see it, because he has said which has not happened in the past.
But there is also the part where he said the 48 Engineers Regiment would actually be part of this project, meaning that if it is about manpower or skill, the 48 Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces is going to provide that.
Then the project is a central government project, not for the district assembly. Because the district assemblies do not need the 48 regiment in the day-to-day functions of the activities. So when it comes to building of bridges and other things, overpass and those things, that is what the district assemblies, if they are the ones going to do the construction, then they do not have the capacity to do those things. So if they do not have the capacity to do it, what are you buying the equipment for them for? Why don't you buy the equipment for the 48 engineers and get them to do projects within district assemblies which are beyond the district assembly? Why don't you give that money or equipment to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, through their urban roads department, to undertake some of these major projects? So for me, I think that it is sheer propaganda. Until the equipment comes as a chamber, we do not trust the Baumia one bit on this promise, because the district assemblies, as they are currently constituted, cannot engage into construction of roads. As we speak, the common fund, which Baumia should be interested in, which is a constitutional dictate to be given to the MMDAs for them to undertake development projects, the common fund is in arrears 4 quarters entry into 5 quarters. And so when you bring the equipment to them, where do you expect them to get money to be able to even fuel those equipment to undertake that. So for me, I think that it is a propaganda piece, nothing less, nothing more.
But okay, so if it happened not to be a propaganda piece, what would be the stance of the chamber?
We insisting it's a propaganda piece because the district assemblies are not cut out to be doing construction of major roads. That is why we have a whole Ministry of Roads and Highways. It is under the Roads Ministry of Roads and Highways that we have the Urban Roads Department and the Feeder Roads Department. These departments are now semi-decentralized and they have departments under the MMDA. Now, what it also means is that their budget for operation does not come to the Ministry of Local Government, neither does it go to the district assembly. It goes to the Ministry of Local Government, you understand? The Ministry of Roads and Highways. So that's why we are just saying that it is not possible for you to say you are procuring equipment for district assemblies to do their own construction. That is where the propaganda issue is coming from, because apart from it not being in the budget, it is not part of their core mandate. So where there are deplorable roads in between towns and other things, then they have to be graded. Then the district assembly will have to, even that, the budget comes from the Ministry for Roads and Highways. So for you to say that you are procuring equipment and giving them directly to the MMDA to undertake construction, it cannot be true. And it is not feasible today as we speak, because even the statutory funds for the MMDA have not been given to them over a year now and still counting. And that is why I am saying that those equipment, don't forget, recently, the Ministry of Roads and Highways came out with a press release to the extent that they have released 150 million to the Department of Urban Roads to undertake road patches. Why didn't they tell us that they have released that money to the MMDA to undertake road patches? So, my brother, the fact remains that the district assemblies do not have the capacity to, and that is why I'm also saying that why would Baumia say that they will need 48 regiments? If you want to do normal road patching, normal road construction, you engage the 48 regiment. You engage 48 regiment when it comes to major projects, bridges and all those things. Why is the 48th regiment not under the Ministry of Roads and Highways? How many roads do you see being built and you see 48th regiment engaged? You engage the 48th regiment when it comes to bridges and all those kind of things. So if you are talking about decentralization and you have to have 261, are they going to engage 48th regiment projects in all the 261 district assemblies? It is a no-no. So for me, it is a propaganda piece for people to see as if, yes, the roads are very bad and they have to be worked on. No two ways about that. But lies do not be told to Ghanaians as if the district assemblies are now going to take charge of their own road construction. That's a powerful falsehood, and it can only be a propaganda piece. So I'm just saying that the equipment, yes, they can come, but we should not be told that they are going to be given to the district assembly for them to undertake their own road construction. That cannot be true. And that's why I also said that we can only wait for the set of equipment that will come so that we will see whether it is a holistic equipment that they are giving to the assembly. We talk about bulldozers, we talk about excavators, we talk about payloaders, we talk about, tipper trucks and all those things. We all know what goes into construction. So if you come and you give us one payloader or you give us a grader to one assembly, how can a grader alone be able to build, construct a road? How would the 48 engineers come in if you are giving us only just one grader? What are they going to use the grader to do? So for me, it is a propaganda piece. It is meant to deceive Ghanaians into thinking that the bad roads that we are all experiencing are going to be worked on by the district assembly. Even if the equipment are given, like you earlier on mentioned, there is no budget for this year. Of course, maybe when if it becomes a chance to become president in 2025, then that's what he's saying is going to be implemented. But if we are being told now, it's a powerful falsehood and nothing but a propaganda piece.
That is Mr. Dr. Richard Fiadumo is actually the chairperson and actually the president of the Chamber of Local Governance, I must say. There is a piece there that now, the way it's going, the propaganda angle, I'm wondering that if it is, could it be that the newspaper or the report that got it wrong, or maybe the meaning of what the vice president meant is lost in translation?
My brother, prior to the Chronicle story, there has been a video purporting to be equipment coming from China for the Ministry for Local Government. And if you watch the video, I will send it to you after talking to you. You will only see Chinese people talking in the background and showing equipment. And we are saying that what we saw, if you want to do a district assembly to construct roads, then it should be a full gamut of equipment. If it's not going to be that, why are you now telling us that if this assembly are going to construct feeder roads and other things, what role is the 48 engineers going to perform? And once you are bringing 48 engineers in, then the issue of decentralization is completely wiped out. Then it is a central government project which is major, for which reason you need the 48 engineers. We all know what the 48 engineers are specialized in. They are specialized in areas when it comes to bridge and other things, not ordinary road construction. If it's ordinary road construction, then they should scrap the Ministry of Roads and Highways and get the military to be constructing the roads in this country to save all of us some money. So clearly, if you see the disconnect from the propaganda piece coming from Baumia and the fact that it is meant for district assemblies to now construct their own road, because you read the Chronicle story, the banner highlight, that is what it says. For MMDAs, we are going to be giving road equipment to do their own construction of roads. And that is not possible, at least for this year, because one, there's no budget to support it, and two, even the statutory money of the common fund for a year has not been released. Those monies, we do not know where they are. So for us, it is not true until we see the full gamut of equipment given to the MMDAs, after which we even question where they expect the MMDAs to get money to construct the roads, having been given those equipment.
I think the report also had said that there will be some cash for operations where municipalities will receive 20% more than the district.
Receive from where? It means that it is not going to come from the DACF, it is going to come from central government. So where is the budget line of that 20% we are talking about? Now, brother, you see, for us, we are there. The chamber is interested in development at the local government. So this one, under normal circumstances, is good news for us, which we should be propagating. But unfortunately, we cannot trust the source and indeed the person leading the charge, because by now, assemblies, district assemblies, common fund should have been released for projects to be going on. Some of these bad roads we are seeing, they just need to be graded. Some places are waterlogged. They just need to be get sand and other things to fill the area as a temporary measure. But today, as we speak, the money to do those things, the assemblies do not have it because the DACF is not coming. So that 20%, where are they going to carry it from? Because it is not in the budget to the local government ministry, or else they are going to take it from the reserve fund. So that one, we can only wait to see. But if the roads in the municipalities, districts, and metropolis are going to be good, it is what the chamber will champion. This is good news, but it is unfortunately a propaganda piece, an election-winning propaganda, and nothing less, nothing more. And we should just wait to see the full gamut or complement of equipment that Baumia will give to the MMDAs or the government will give. Then we can take it off from there. But as we speak, it is not a deliverable story.
Dr. Richard Fiadumo is the Chamber for Local Governance president. He's talking to us right here on Z 101.9 FM. Doc, before you go, let's go broader. The Chamber for Local Governance, if you could enlighten my listeners a bit, what do you do, and what is the mandate lines like for the Chamber? If you can share some light on what you do.
Yeah, grateful for this opportunity. The Chamber is a civil society organization. We have interest in deepening local governance and also expanding the frontiers of decentralization. We take serious interest in local development. We take serious interest in local economic development so that people living within the district will have something to do. So that once they are financially strong, then the MMDAs can also be financially strong, because people will now pay property rates, people will now pay business operating permits. So everything local governance development and the economic empowerment of people living within local government spaces are things that we see as priority, and we always try to work on.
In operating over this period since your establishment, what would you say is some of the big challenges that are hampering local governance in this country?
Yeah, the challenges have successive governments have had their challenges, but I can stick my neck out and say that this current government, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has not dealt very well with local governance in this country. As we speak, like I've spoken about, the common fund is already in arrest. It has never happened in the annals of the history of local governance in this country. It's unprecedented. It also took Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government to cap the common fund. It has to take a Supreme Court intervention for it to be uncapped. So clearly you see that funds meant for local governance is not coming to the local government. What happened recently, which has been restored after we made a lot of noise, is the fact that property rate, which is a seeded revenue for local government, was taken away from local government without parliamentary approval. The act was not changed. It was given to a private person and they got GRA to hike. Now when they realize that things are not going and they realize on illegality, they reversed it, and now the whole of last year, the MMDAs lost revenue because the private contractor did not even have the capacity to collect the whole country, and that is why they had to hide behind GRA. So clearly, they have caused Assembly serious loss even in terms of internally generated funds, and the statutory fund, which is also the common fund, is not coming. So for us, this current government will do everything possible to see the back of this government, not because we hate the MPP, but we want a government that will come, that will do well for local governance, because it is hindering development and things are not going the way things have to go. And that is the challenge we have. So, yes, there have been challenges in the past, but what is happening currently under this government is very distasteful as far as local governance is concerned. And that is why we do everything possible to make sure we get a future government that will not come and do propaganda. So what Bawumia is doing, we are not happy with it because he should know what he's saying is not doable, at least for this year. So if he wants to say when he becomes president, he's going to get full complement of equipment for assemblies and other things to work, we will come and commend him and ask Ghanaians to vote for him, because that is the way forward. But for you to talk as if it's going to be done now, and we see that it's a powerful falsehood, they will not support you to become president.
Dr. Fiadumo, don't you stand the chance or the risk of the Chamber for Local Governance being tagged as a tool by the opposition just to give the ruling government some bad name?
My brother, the interview you are doing now, is it at the instance of the Chamber, or is the same government that wants to put sand or with that in our eyes? So we cannot sit down. If the NDC comes in future and they do this, we will not give them the chance. So clearly, what we are saying, we are a civil society organization, and government does not give us money on how we pay our staff on a monthly basis, has nothing to do with any government. So clearly, we are not there because we want any cost favor with any government. That is why we get sponsorship from donor agencies to do the work that we do. So it is not, if you can, and you are not doing what has to be done, we will talk about it. So if we are waiting for government to pay us, then we say we are waiting for NDC to come so that we can get salary. That is not the case. As we speak, we work, we get funding from donor agencies and other things. So if Bawumia had said that when he becomes president, he will get a full equipment for assemblies to do their own road construction. My brother, I have told you earlier that is good news. But if it is seen that this is not what you intend to do, and you want to just deceive the voting public, and so that they will vote for you and you still not deliver on it, then for me, that is where we are having a point of departure with the vice president. That's why we have insisted that it's just for a propaganda value and it's a vote-buying scheme to hoodwink Ghanaians voting for the MP. For that one, we will not sit down for it to happen as far as it affects local governance. So yes, today we will talk. Tomorrow, the NDC movement for change, CPP, any government comes and they want to bastardize local governance, we will not keep quiet. We will continue talking until the right end is done. So yes, if you ask what currently the government is doing, we do not like it, and we don't think going forward is good for local governance. But if they can come with a manifesto policy and we see that there's vision in it and to support local governance, we'll come out to support them. So, but for now, we cannot sit down because government is doing something that is not right. Government wants to deceive people, and as a responsible civil society organization, we should keep quiet. We'll talk about it.
All right. Thank you so much.
That one is their own opinion.
Okay, sir. That's Dr. Richard Fiadumo, is the Chamber for Local Governance, and Z101.9 FM will want to state categorically that those are the views of the Chamber for Local Governance. Our platform we dissociate ourselves from those comments. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us right here on Zed in the Morning.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine.
Yeah, still Zed in the morning, Zed Talk. We went in the roads. We went onto the roads and it got a bit heated. Let's go into the air. So our partner Aviation Ghana is, joined us from Dubai whilst the conversation with Dr. Fiadumo was going on, and so we tried finding out what was happening. Because of the challenges with the communication, we could ask just a few questions. So it's just getting to a quarter to the top of the hour 9, where we're going to our final hour of the show. And today, please, like I said, it's a health and wellness Tuesday, and you know the way we do health and wellness Tuesdays, we bring in somebody who understands the body well enough to have that good discussion. Today on health and wellness, we're talking high blood pressure, how to control hypertension. That is our 9 a.m., the last hour of the show conversation, and we are privileged to have in the studio Dr. Henrietta Norkai Okran. She's a family physician specialist. She's with the UGMC, University of Ghana Medical Center, and she will join us at 9 a.m. for us to continue do the conversation on controlling high blood pressure. Yes, so when we reached out to Dominic Andor at the 80th International Airport Transport Association, IATA AGM in Dubai, we wanted to find out from him what the key insights were from day one of the summit. What were the things that he picked up from there? Let's listen to what he had to say.
The 80th IATA AGM meeting is taking place in Dubai, and day one of the conference saw the African press briefing. The African press briefing was addressed by Kamal Al-Awadzi. He is the IATA Vice President for the Middle East and Africa. One of the key insights, well, a very exciting development, is that of all the countries in the world which have blocked airline funds, meaning that airlines operate in those countries, they make profits, but they are not able to repatriate their funds. It was about $1.8 billion. One of the key culprits was Nigeria. Good enough, the first day of the meeting, it came out that Nigeria has cleared 98% of all the airline funds that were blocked in the West African country. So essentially, the 2% left is just due to bureaucracy. They're just signing up some paperwork and it will be done. And because of that, the total blocked airline funds in various countries have really dropped significantly because of Nigeria's unblocking of airline funds in that country. What that means for us in West Africa is that a lot of the airlines that pulled out from Nigerian market and others who were seeking to pull out from Nigerian market because they were not able to repatriate their profits are now returning. The likes is Emirates. Emirates is returning to Nigeria, Lagos and Abuja in the last quarter of this year. In fact, the Nigerian Minister for Aviation, Kayamo, was in town alongside Dubai's Chief Executive Officer and Vice President to open the first session that we had. So we see a close collaboration between Nigeria and Dubai now that the Nigerian government has paid off what they owed Emirates and other airlines whose monies were blocked in Nigeria. The question then is, what does this development mean for Ghana? We had a lot of people from Nigeria who are connecting flights through Ghana to Dubai and other countries. Now that Emirates is returning to Nigeria, one of its biggest markets, it means that connection, people flying to Nigeria to come to Accra to board flights, because flights were expensive in Nigeria. We should expect that now they just board flight from home. Essentially, competition will increase in Nigeria, prices of airfares will drop because the likes of Emirates and things will bring in the wide bodies to Nigeria. It means that they have access to, there's more available capacity, there's more seats available in the Nigerian market. So prices will expect to drop and then probably remain or come down around what we experienced in Ghana. So they won't be taking transport through Lomé all the way to Accra to board a flight out to Dubai and other places anymore. So essentially, we may see, I'm not saying it's likely, but we may see the transit passenger volumes that we have in Accra probably dropping marginally going forward.
Yeah, so Nigeria is coming live on because they've sorted out their financial obligations with these major airlines. What that means, according to Mr. Dominicando, is that then there's a greater likelihood that the numbers we saw through transiting might come down, and then Nigerians going by road or even flying into town before they're able to connect would also come down. So yeah, there's competition. You see why? That's why we needed to go and have this conversation. If you're a business traveler and you're a business that has some work you do with the airline industry in Ghana, these are causes for concern, especially, but that does not mean there is doom coming. Of course, as a business, your job then is to strategize and ensure that you are in the best of position when these challenges come up. So yeah, Nigeria, big player in West Africa. If they open up well, Ghana would go through some challenges of our own. If Nigeria catches a cold and they cough, Ghana might catch something small. So, big brother. Then we also found out from the Dominic Ando, the conflicts in West Africa, the sub-region is not being too stable. Wanted to know if that also came up in the conversation at the IATA summit today. What were the thoughts on that, at the conflicts in West Africa?
In respect of the conflicts in the West African countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, etc., Kamel Awadzi indicated that, look, that belt alone, there were a lot of overhead flights. However, because of the conflict, airlines now have to redo their flight plan and go around that belt and avoid those zones. It means that longer flight time, if for instance I'm flying to London to Accra and I would have used 6 hours, it means I now have to go around that belt and we use 6.5 hours. I'm flying from Paris to Accra and I had to fly over that belt. Because of the conflict, airlines will now have to go around it, meaning that longer flight time, they have to spend more fuel and more expensive costs to the airline. And ultimately, who gets to pay? The passenger. Because increase in flight time, more fuel needed, means that the airline cannot absorb all the costs. They have to pass on to the consumers. Initially, though, when it started, airlines absorbed the costs, but after a while, airlines now had to pass it on to the consumers because the situation has persisted, and they had to find a way to still fly and connect people.
Yes, so conflict is not as isolated as you might think. If you say, the conflicts in West Africa does not affect me, I'm in Accra, I'm in Kumasi, all these things, from what the report we're getting, it is affecting us. It is affecting us in one way or the other. And I recall personally a trip from Emirates to New Delhi, and I recall that when we were about to get over a certain airspace, the pilot comes on and says, because of the conflict between India and Pakistan, at that time, when we went on that trip, we couldn't go over Pakistani airspace, so we had to come somewhere, go somewhere. There was a longer flight for the airline. It means more fuel, more cost. More cost they bear for a while, and like Dominic Ando of Aviation Ghana said, then eventually they will pass it on to the final consumer. That's what happens. The conflict in West Africa is affecting us. Then we went on to the issue of sustainability, the decarbonizing goals, and the SDGs that are out there. How can we ensure that airline travel is more sustainable? It's not polluting the environment. We wanted to find out about trying to decarbonize. What were the latest updates from the summit as to the decarbonization of airline flights? And this is what Dominic had to say as well.
Oh, great question. The airline industry contributes just about 2% of global carbon emissions. However, the airline industry has taken a bold step to decarbonize by 2050. Day one of the session, there was a plenary session, the big picture, where we talked about sustainable aviation fuel and general fuels and all. The fact is, airlines are ready to take up whatever sustainable aviation fuel is produced. Every single drop of aviation fuel produced last year and the year before were taken up by airlines. However, there is simply not enough SAF, sustainable aviation fuels, available for airlines to buy. This is where the opportunity comes in for most of the African countries, because we have a lot of these natural resources to produce sustainable aviation fuels. so that the airline industry will pick up. Airlines stand ready to purchase any aviation fuel that is produced. However, for countries and economies to really benefit, government policies must be put in place to ensure that they take advantage of this opportunity available and produce a lot more for airlines who are also seeking the products to fly.
Yeah, so you heard from Mr. Dominic Andor. He's the president, chief executive of Aviation Ghana, and they are your trusted aviation content providers right here in Ghana. But you're listening to him. He was reporting straight from Dubai. What's happening in Dubai is the annual IATA AGM. What is IATA? IATA is the International Association of Travel Airlines. Yes. So please, that was Zed Talk. Coming up in the next minute, it's another of your favorite sessions. What is this segment? It's called Customer Service and Experience Moments right here on Zed in the Morning. Coming up after that, we go into the final hour. And as if you need reminded, let me just give a quick reminder as well. Because today is a Tuesday. Tuesdays are what we call the Health and Wellness Tuesdays. Today we're talking high blood pressure, controlling high blood pressure, hypertension. Dr. Henrietta Norkai Okran is a family physician specialist from UGMC, that does the University of Ghana Medical Center. She's going to be joining us in the studios for us to have that conversation on high blood pressure and how to control high blood pressure. But before that, before we go into the last hour, we're coming up with your favorite customer service and experience moments right here on Zed in the Morning.
Jim, it's great to be back home. Home is where I want to be. And I've been on the road so long.
Before as well, when we said that a poor thought could lead to a poor attitude, which could lead to poor behavior or poor action, and this can affect the quality of customer service right in the business. So we said therefore that check your thoughts, banish wrong thoughts before they lead to wrong attitudes, which then leads to poor performance. That was last week and the week before. This week we're looking at skills, because we said that to the right combination of skills, knowledge, and attitude is what differentiates the ordinary from the great customer experience professionals. And so we're looking at skills this week. Yesterday we touched on one of the skills, and it was communication skills. And we said that to be able to give great customer service as a professional, your communication had to be certain 9 C's. The 9 C's. Yesterday we touched on the first 3 C's, which is it must be clear, it must be correct, it must be concrete. Right? No fuzzy communication that will confuse the customer. If you're giving a customer a form to fill and you don't give the customer clear, concrete communication, what you end up doing is you confuse the customer. So today we're looking at the next 3 C's. Concise. Your communication must be concise. It must be straight to the point. It must not be lengthy verbals that would end up confusing the customer. Communication must be concise. Get straight to the point. Mr. Customer, Madam Customer, do A, B, C, D. And then the next thing is your communication must be credible. Your communication must be credible. Credible meaning that don't lie. Don't be credible. Don't go say something that the customer, because don't forget that if you lose the trust of the customer because you gave information that's not credible, we'll all be in trouble. Why? Because the customer not only becomes offended, but an offended customer becomes your brand's greatest source of danger, because he'll go around or she'll go around telling 1,000 others about what you've done. And in this day and age of social media, the last thing you want is for a customer to go onto social media, Facebook, on X, or on Instagram, and say, this brand did this and that to me. You're in trouble. Recently, you saw what happened when one individual and a number of his colleagues took on one of the brands in this country. And just on social media alone, the damage started, and people started even calling for a boycott of that brand stuff. So your communication must not only be concise, it must be credible. So yes, the 5 we've tackled so far: clear, correct, concrete, concise, credible. But then there's also another one we need to tackle. It is coherent. Don't give customers at the front desk or the front line. You're not to give customers clear only, but it must be coherent. It must make sense. It must make sense. Take it this way. You visit an outfit for a transaction, and they give you directions to a place, and they say, you go straight. When you go down the hall, look at the third door on the left, and then pass by the door and go to the right side of the door. Then as you are the customer, you start going, you get confused. Like, before you realize you've entered the washroom because they gave you wrong direction. It happens. So the 6 C's that we've tackled so far is clear communication. Your communication must be clear. It must be correct. It must be concrete. It must be concise. It must be credible, and it must be coherent. Tomorrow we'll tackle 3 other of the C's. This week we're looking at the skills that you need to be able to professionally deliver great customer service at the front desk, because it is key. We have said it and we'll keep saying it, that this very segment is brought to you mainly because we know that every organization's success depends on keeping its customers satisfied, which is why Customer Service and Experience Moment has been brought to you here on Zed in the Morning. Tomorrow we'll continue. Right now it's 9 a.m. We're in the final hour of the show. It's a Health and Wellness Tuesday. We're going to talk hypertension and how to control it. on God. Be the hour of the day. How for do? Yes, so like I said, we are pleased to, we're privileged, in fact, honored to have Dr. Henrietta Norkai Okran. She's a family physician and specialist at the UGMC. We're talking high blood pressure. So today we'll be just taking it easy, just so that people get the information they need so that they live better. This is your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio, LLB. If it is impacting your lifestyle, if it's going to affect your leisure, which then leads to your income generation capacity and capabilities, ZFM is interested in it. We are your LLB radio, lifestyle, leisure, and business only, no politics. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Jerry.
It's great to have you.
It's a pleasure being here.
How has been the day so far?
Oh, by the grace of God, it's been good.
You've not gone to the hospital, Sylvia?
Not yet.
Okay.
You're ready for action.
After I know.
After this place, yes.
So this conversation started up sometime last week. We were talking about non-communicable diseases and the fact that more often than not, our attention is on the communicable ones, the ones that you can catch, and so there is always the hype around them. However, the figures are showing that the NCDs are also really rising, or they might even have overtaken communicable disease. So subsequently, we want to be touching on these things. So today, we just want to talk about hypertension. What is hypertension? Because it comes with the number of names, local balance and all that. BP. What is it? Tell us about it.
So basically, hypertension is elevated blood pressure. So there are figures involved, but then when you have increased pressure in your blood vessels, in your arteries, that's what we refer to as high blood pressure or hypertension. Yes. Usually the normal would be 120 to 80. Being 120 would be the systolic blood pressure and 80 would be the diastolic blood pressure. And then there's a range, actually. But beyond 130 to 139, we would say elevated blood pressure, but will not categorize you as hypertensive yet. Now, beyond 140, 90, then we will start categorizing you as hypertension stage 1, and then stage 2, and then onwards. But basically, somebody will come and say, my BP has gone up.
Yeah, yes. That's a common one.
Yes, that is hypertension for you.
And what causes hypertension?
So there are a number of causes and risk factors. So we divide them into primary and secondary. So for primary hypertension, there's no secondary cause, as in there's nothing precedes it. So for instance, somebody who has a genetic predisposition, so the family history of hypertension, they are more likely to get hypertension, especially if they don't watch their lifestyle as they are growing. Because then you have the risk factors setting in, and it's easier for them to get hypertension. And then you have the secondary hypertension. That's due to secondary causes like kidney disease, diabetes, hormonal problems like thyroid goiter problems, hyperthyroidism. You can have from heart problems, coarctation of the aorta, fancy names, but yes, heart diseases,
coagulation of the aorta. Yes,
fancy names, and then also drugs, alcohol, smoking. Yes, they all fall under risk factors, but they also cause hypertension. Cocaine would also do that. Amphetamines, methamphetamines, would also do that.
So in effect, Doc, it means you could have a drinking buddy that you go out to drink with a person every day. But if genetically the person is not so predisposed to this, the two of you will drink and you might die and he will still be around.
Yes.
Because yours had some genetics that didn't go well with you.
Yes.
And you didn't know.
So you have to be extra cautious.
Okay. So how is hypertension diagnosed in the first place?
Okay. So first of all, let's say a patient comes to the clinic. You have to take a good history. Some people come with symptoms, but largely hypertension we call it a silent killer. 30% of patients will not even realize they have hypertension. And that's where the problem is, because their blood pressure, when it goes up, they don't have any symptoms to alert them. So you and I, once there's nothing wrong with us, we go about our business, our daily business, without going to check anything. We are fine. We go partying, left, right, center, and all that. But for some people, they will have symptoms. And they are the fortunate ones, because then they have symptoms like headaches, they have palpitations, they have chest pain, they have shortness of breath, dizziness, they easily feel tired. So that alerts them that, okay, I need to check myself, go to the hospital. The easiest place is some people just go to the pharmacy, and then they check their blood pressure, realize that it's gone up. So then they come to the hospital, and then we take our history, and then through the history also try and find out what precipitated it, if there is a cause, or if there's a family history of it. And so that's for the history part. And then on our examination, you have to check the blood pressure. Now, blood pressure is easily checked by using the sphygmomanometer, the blood pressure reading machine. And now it's all over the place. In pharmacies, at homes, you can get it. And then in the hospitals. And usually what we do is we let a person sit down for about 5 minutes, relax a bit, and then we check. We wrap the cuff around their arm, and the cuff size is also quite important, because if you use a small cuff, that will not give you a good reading. So an appropriate cuff size, the bigger it is, the better. And the bigger it is, the better. Usually we take 2 readings, and depending on the level, then we take action.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So the different stages, you said there's stage 1, there's stage 2. For each stage, what are the recommended treatments? How do you handle it before? Because I'm thinking the stages means that we are graduating to more dangerous levels.
Yes.
Stage 1, stage 2. Yeah.
Yes,
so if someone can come and you already know they've gone beyond a certain stage and all that. But let's start from, how do we go up?
Yes. So first and foremost, lifestyle modification. Lifestyle modification is an important part of the treatment for hypertension, because that could bring down your blood pressure levels even without medication. That's depending on the stage. So for the initial stage, the first stage, yes, between 130, 139, changing your lifestyle. So that's where you need to find out the patient's risk factors, or the person's risk factors. Now, if the person takes in a lot of salt, the person has to reduce it. They say 2 grams of sodium or 6 grams of salt. That would be about a teaspoon of salt in the person's diet, no more than that. That goes hand in hand with increasing your potassium intake. Potassium is in avocados, grapes, tomatoes. Reducing your alcohol intake. So your drinking buddies, you have to advise them.
Guys, doc said reduce your alcohol intake.
Reduce your alcohol intake.
Those that are always scaring me that I didn't buy beer for them, I've stopped. I'm not buying beer for you. You know who I'm talking to. Yes. Yes. I'm helping you live a healthy life.
Yes. And then a sedentary lifestyle also doesn't help. So sedentary means you are not walking. Lots of our jobs these days involve sitting a lot. And so if you are going to sit in the office the whole day, then when you get home or before you get to work, you have to exercise. And the exercise recommendation would be at least 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. That's for moderate intensity exercise. For high intensity, about 20 to 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. And that exercises can be brisk walking, swimming, anything that you enjoy, tennis, but it has to be intentional. It's not that, okay, I went to watch it from the roadside and back, and I walked with my friends, so I've exercised. No, it has to be intentional. It's a prescription. And the more you do, the better, because every exercise that you do reduces your blood pressure within a certain range. Sleep is also very important, because stress causes, it's a risk factor for hypertension. So these days there's lots of stress in the system. So we're getting young people also getting hypertension because people are really stressed generally. And some people have gone to the extent of even changing their jobs because the job is too stressful. It's impacting on their hypertension, on their blood pressure. And so they need to do that to bring their blood pressure down, and that significantly helps.
Wow. Yeah. Sleep.
Yes.
Just sleep alone. I mean.
So we recommend that you have at least 6 hours of sleep.
From where? I mean,
at least in the night. Yes.
So if I slept at night, yeah, but I mean,
that's why I said at least, because some people are not able to sleep. Some people have sleep difficulties.
That's what I was going to ask. Because I can't do 6 hours straight. I'll wake up. I just can't do it.
That's how your metabolism is. But you have to try and relax. So apart from that, relaxation exercises are also there. Yoga is there. Meditation exercises are there. Anything to try and relax you would help to bring your blood pressure down.
Doc, you think as a people we're too stressed? Is it modernity? I thought all the technical advancement, the technological advancement, if I can say that, we're supposed to make our life easier so that we'll relax more. Why are we still too stressed? When they come to the hospital, you don't ask them where the stress is coming from.
We always ask them. And it could be financial, it could be marital. I mean, some people do have serious marital issues that impact on them. It could be family, it could be kids, it could be anything. Yes, it's not just one thing. It could be multifactorial. So we try and delve into that. And if the person needs a psychologist to speak to, we refer the person to a psychologist. Yeah.
How does hypertension impact overall health?
So it comes with a lot of complications. Yes. Initially, I mentioned about the signs and symptoms and things like that. And then it comes with complications. So from the head, once the blood pressure is above a certain level, 160, 100, you are at risk of getting a stroke. Strokes come in two forms. Your blood vessel can burst, and then the blood will seep into your brain, basically speaking. And that is a stroke. And that will come with paralysis. You're not able to walk. You may not be able to talk, depending on how severe it is. Or it can lead to the blood vessel blocking, where because of the high blood pressure, it damages the inner lining of the arteries, and then it tends to cause blockage, which is an infarct. So that's one complication. Then from the brain, you can come to even the eyes. It can cause blurred vision if it goes on for a long time, because it causes damage in the blood vessels in the eyes. In your heart, so it can give you heart attacks. It can cause heart attacks. You can get heart failure where fluid accumulates in your lungs. The kidneys are also an organ that gets damaged with hypertension that's not controlled. So it causes... It impacts on the kidneys, and they can give you kidney disease, kidney failure, and all that. So it's just from head to toe, it can affect the whole body.
That's and so if left unmanaged, what are the consequences?
So your blood pressure will keep going up, and with time, you will have these complications setting in one way or the other. Like you said, it's a silent killer. So somebody can be there and just boom, because they didn't even know that their blood pressure had gone up. And then they could be on the treadmill exercising, and then they collapse. They are brought in, their blood pressure has gone up to above 241 something. They didn't even know. And then we end up losing your life.
If a guy is exercising, how can his blood pressure kill him?
That is why you need to monitor, because he didn't even know that his blood pressure was going up. So some people exercise, yes, but at the same time, they're drinking alcohol. We also mentioned about the genetic predisposition. So they probably didn't even know that they had the hypertension, but it's from the family. So they are doing what they need to do, but still they end up getting hypertension. Yeah.
So we the lifestyle changes that you're recommending to manage the hypertension, which is diet, exercise, and the stress reduction. If someone listening to us right now is to start, where would you advise a person start from? Or you say do all at the same time? Because I don't know when I would exercise, because by the time I get to the studio, it's already done.
Yes.
When do I get to?
So I believe you have a few of these.
Weekends.
On weekends, yes. So you can take the opportunity over the weekend to do a sport of some sort. You can golf, you can play tennis, you can go swimming, you can. Now these days, a lot of people climb the Ebi Mountain on weekends.
Yeah, the breathing is looking like more of a, show off than real exercise.
Well, but it's a good way to exercise. Because by the time they go up and come down, they've exercised their hearts, they've done some cardio, aerobics, and all that. So yes, it's fun, but it's a good way to do it. Because some people, like you said, you are stressed during the week. So whatever you want to do shouldn't also be stressful. It should be enjoyable, right? Your diet, reducing your fats. It's also important. I talked about sodium, but also reducing your diet. So there's an eating plan or a dietary plan called. It's supposed to help stop hypertension. It's called a DASH diet, dietary approach to systolic hypertension or managing systolic hypertension or stopping hypertension. Yes. So that involves cutting down on the bad cholesterol, on the bad fats, the saturated fats and the trans fats, which are in margarine, in butter, in baked foods. So those ones, what they do is they increase the bad cholesterol and then reduce the good cholesterol.
Okay.
Yes. So then we encourage people to have more fish, less red meat. Yes, chicken should not be fried, if anything grilled. Yes, seafood is also better. Fruits and vegetables are very important. So basically around those lines, not drinking or reducing alcohol intake.
Here we go again.
I said it again.
Yeah, no beer, no beer for my
very
friend.
Important.
Yes.
And then smoking cessation is also important. I also mentioned about reducing your stress levels.
Yeah, I mean, so let's start from what should someone who has hypertension, what should their eating plan look like? Aside what we've said, that the foods they should eat, what should their eating plan look like? Because if you're in my shoes, you can't eat at 3:30 when you wake up. The show starts at 5:55. How can you eat? What are you going to eat at 5:55 and all that? What would you say the average person who has hypertension? How should you eat? If you're like me that will eat after 2 and all that, what would you advise, Doc?
Okay, so I mean, so this is just a little, but we will go into the diet maybe another time.
Yeah.
Yes, but then let's say in the mornings, instead of drinking at your age, I don't know your age, but
yeah, Mr. Kokuyaksi is listening. The advice is for him.
So instead of drinking maybe heavy or concentrated chocolate drink with a lot of milk, with a lot of sugar in it.
Okay.
Because we said we'll have to reduce our cholesterol levels.
Exactly.
We'll go more for like a plant milk thing.
Okay.
Or you can have oats, which is also good in reducing your cholesterol level. The raw cocoa drinks, yes, they are also known to reduce blood pressure levels. Something light in the morning, tea, maybe without sugar if possible, because we also don't want you to get diabetes, because that also impacts on hypertension.
It's true.
Brown bread as opposed to white bread. Ghanaians like eating heavy breakfast, so like watching in the morning and then go
now
bed.
You're coming to DJ Wade's line. Yeah.
And go bed also. I'm not saying don't eat it, but it's not advisable to have it in the mornings.
It's not?
It is not, because they contain all the things that will let you put on weight, and obesity and overweight
leads to hypertension as well.
In the afternoon, you can have salad. In the afternoons, you can have a bit of salad, grilled chicken. And then if you're exercising, well, you then have the leeway to eat a bit more freely, not too strict, but at the same time watching your sodium intake. Yes. So if you take a plate, for instance, you can divide the plate into 4. Your carbohydrate should be a quarter of it. Most of it should be vegetables and then protein. And the protein should not be fried, advisably. And then we also advise people to not eat after 6, 7. Because then,
Doc, you're talking to Ben. Ben, our head of technical. He closes at 11 midnight. How can he not eat? He'll get getting during the midnight.
Yeah, so what happens then is you can have a tea or a fruit, the green apple, a fruit salad, something light after the 7 if you have to take something at 9, let's say.
Doc, does this not look like a rich man's kind of living, where you are deciding to eat grapes and apples? What about those of us on the streets that we can't afford to even enter a place and get grapes and all that? What do we do when we are at risk of getting hypertension?
Oh, so our local foods are even better. Now, if you take afternoon lunch, for instance, and I say have abom, kontomire abom, that doesn't have any oil. You reduce the salt in it. You have it with some kobe and then some apim, green plantain. You are good to go.
Not too expensive. Not the rich man's one.
Garden eggs abom. Yes. I mean, our local foods are even better. It's more the Western foods that are actually affecting us. So the problem is you come to work, there's no food, you didn't bring food to work. So then you end up going to buy fried rice and chicken. And with that one, the oils that are used in it are also not the best. They will increase your bad cholesterol. And then you have a lot of salt in it, Maggi and things. Wow. So then you are not helping yourself. So we advise, especially people who go to work the whole day, it's better for them to pack their food, because some of the complaints are that they have to have food from the cafeteria and they don't control what is in the food. So then we advise that they pack lunch.
Hey, Doc. Let's talk medication. Some have said that the problem with even this whole hypertension thing is you're giving some white folks medicine, and before you realize, you become dependent on it. And that also then develops into some other side of your body having issues. What is your take on this very thing? That using medication to stop hypertension as opposed to going natural, eating, resting, and all that?
Yes. So beyond a certain level of hypertension or blood pressure, 140/90 going, so you get 140/100 and above, you will need to taking medication to bring your blood pressure down. Yes, they have side effects, but most drugs do have side effects. That's what I usually tell my patients. So why don't you ask me, when you come to the hospital and I give you paracetamol, why don't you ask me that, doctor, what will the paracetamol do to me? What are the side effects of paracetamol? And then you decide not to take the paracetamol. But then when it comes to antihypertensives, there's always this inertia. People don't want to take antihypertensives. Yeah. One of the myths is that once I start taking antihypertensives,
it's for the rest of my life.
For the rest of my life. But usually what we tell them is that you monitor your blood pressure for us. We usually give you a form to monitor your BP morning and evening on it. These days there are apps that you can record the blood pressures on. Once we put you on medication, you monitor it, and then when you come, depending on your blood pressure levels, then we will know whether we should reduce the dosage or with time take you off it. But that will also depend largely on your compliance in taking the medication and your lifestyle change. Now, for some people, once they start changing their lives, of course, they were not doing that in the past. With the medication, their blood pressure is going too low. Not that it's normal. When it's normal, it means the drug is working. That's keeping your blood pressure down. But when you come and you're getting hypotension, for instance, your blood pressure is less than 100, the systolic, and the diastolic is less than 60, then we know that, okay, the medication dose is too high, we halve it. With time, you realize that you have to keep reducing it, and then we take the person off. But with that, the person keeps monitoring, doesn't stop monitoring, because they had hypertension in the past. Yeah, so those are the instances when we do take people off medication. But once it's keeping the blood pressure normal, we don't stop. Some people are also afraid of, especially the men, they're afraid of erectile dysfunction. And now it pops up on the reels, Instagram reel, Facebook reel. They are talking about all the side effects, and so it makes people afraid to start taking the medication, and therefore we are having a lot of problems and challenges managing hypertension. But every drug does have side effects, and not everybody will experience those side effects. That's the thing. And so when we start you on medication, we give you a review date that is close, so maybe in a week, so that you come and let us know, first of all, how your BP readings are going, and if you're having any side effects. Common side effects would be headaches for some of the drugs, coughing at night for some of the drugs. So once we realize that, then we change to another class. There are several classes that we can change it to. So usually when people start and they start having side effects, they stop and then they don't come to hospital. So we advise that when you do have side effects, come. There are so many different types that we can try you on and then titrate against your blood pressure. And eventually you will get one that you are comfortable with, that you can take for years and years.
Yeah, but the erectile dysfunction, is it actually a known side effect of some BP drugs?
Some BP drugs do that, but you can't predict, yes.
Oh, okay.
Some, and it's not that common. I cannot say it's that common.
But yeah, but it can happen.
It can happen. And then when that happens, we just change the drug to another class.
Okay, it's almost half past the hour 9, and we're in the final hour of today's show. It's Health and Wellness Tuesdays, as always, and we're having a great conversation with Dr. Henrietta Nokai Okran. She's a family physician specialist at the UGMC, University of Ghana Medical Center. We're talking controlling high blood pressure today. Very, very important topic. And I think you're picking the takeaways from this discussion so far. Can hypertension be reversed or cured?
So it's a chronic disease. So once it sets in, it lives with you. But like I was saying, once you put in measures to the lifestyle prevention, put in accurate measures, you may end up being in the bracket of people who end up not being on their medication. For some people too, they get the hypertension because of secondary causes. Like let's say somebody who has a goiter and so their thyroid hormone is elevated. So in that case, once you solve the goiter problem, then
the hypertension automatically
will go away. So yes, it's a chronic disease, but it's all dependent on whether there are secondary causes that can be treated, or the person also changes their lifestyle significantly, because back in the day, let's say they were obese, they were fat, they were eating whatever, drinking whatever. They modify their lifestyle, and then you end up having to take them off the medication. But with that, we still monitor and follow up for the rest of their lives.
Interesting. So now let's look at the heart disease, kidney diseases, and diabetes that we spoke about, all these other conditions. And you said they all have a link with it. So which is the causative effect? The causative factor? Is it the heart disease that brings the hypertension, or the hypertension that causes heart diseases? What are the relationships between hypertension and all these diseases?
So it could be either way. So if you take somebody who has diabetes, now diabetes can end up damaging the lumen of the vessels and then end up leading to hypertension. So usually I'll tell my patients that they're like sister and brother or cousin, they are family members. They follow each other. So you need to control one so you don't get the other. If you take kidney disease, for instance, hypertension uncontrolled can lead to kidney disease. Kidney disease also, if you were to get it from something else, let's say you go and drink some herbal medication and your kidney shuts down, or you get kidney failure for whatever reason, that could end up causing hypertension. So it's both ways. Yes. So you have to control both. The best is to avoid getting any of the above.
So in areas like my village where these things are not, is it possible to control in those low resource areas?
Yes, it is. So even if the area is low resource, we still have worst case scenario, worst case in quotes, you will still have a CHIPS compound, so a community-based health preventive service compound, where it's supposed to be at least adequately stocked with some antihypertensives. And then health promotion, health education also helps to educate the people in those areas on lifestyle prevention so that they don't get it. And then medication will also help. It's just about maybe stocking up and then making sure that whoever the healthcare professional is in that area is on top of it. So educating people to come and check their blood pressures if they don't have it in their homes because of, like you said, low resource setting. Then encouraging them to constantly come and be checking their blood pressure, because at least those facilities will have that in there. And then that's how we try and manage in those areas.
Are there gender implications to hypertension? Does your gender influence whether you get hypertension or not?
That is a bit of a tricky one. But when you look at the lifestyle...
Who is more at risk, Doc?
I would say males.
Okay.
More at risk.
Men who drink.
But men who drink.
Men who drink and smoke and don't exercise.
It's multifactorial,
Okay.
yes. Men who drink and don't exercise, yes. And then in females, you can even have pregnant women also getting hypertension. So there are lots of factors that influence your getting it.
How does pregnancy influence the person's getting or not getting hypertension? What will lead to pregnancy causing a woman to get into hypertension?
So, I mean, when it comes to pregnancy, it's a bit of a complicated situation. There's no particular cause, so you can't really predict that this person will end up getting it. But like I said, hereditary factors would at least prompt you to look in that direction. And then for them, we monitor them throughout their pregnancy, checking their urine protein, checking their blood pressure. So when it starts going up, immediately we try and grab it. But in terms of cause, it is quite complicated because you have the baby, the fetus, the placenta, and hormones being produced would end up triggering hypertension in pregnancy.
If no one in my family has ever complained of hypertension, how would I know if I have a family history or not? What should I do to know if I have, so that I start taking care of myself?
So that's why you have to constantly, as much as possible, check your blood pressure, not just your blood pressure, your sugar levels. Doing annual medicals help, or every 6 months you come to the hospital, do your medicals, and when you show up, we do check your blood pressure. Now, there are pharmacies all over, so anytime you are going to buy something, you can just quickly check your blood pressure to see where your level is. And then there are also home BP machines that you can buy. Actually, you find that is also a very good way of diagnosing hypertension or catching people with hypertension. Some people come to the hospital, and then when they come, their blood pressure is up all the time. However, when they are home and they are monitoring it, it's down. And it's because once they get into the hospital setting, they get very, very anxious. They see sick people. No matter how much you try and calm them down, their blood pressure is still up. So home monitoring is very, very important, yes, in the follow-up of patients.
Okay. As a community, now let's go beyond the individual. What should families do? What role should families play in preventing this scourge of hypertension in our society? Families. I'm coming to the bigger communities. I want to start with families.
In terms of families, just basically being each other's keeper, because it's so easy to pick up. It is not something that you even need to come into the hospital to check. I keep stressing on the fact that BP machines are everywhere. So every home should ideally have one. So most people actually, we've gotten to the stage where most people do have a BP machine in the house. So somebody comes, their blood pressure is up. You ask them, do you have a BP monitor at home? Yes, we do. So as a family, from time to time, you can be checking your blood pressure. It's very easy to screen and to pick up. Yes, so just advising.
Ideally, every family should have a BP kit at home. Something very basic that you can check.
Yes, because we said it's a silent killer. You may not realize that you do have it until it's too late.
Ben doesn't have. DJ Wade also doesn't have. Mr. Kweku Yankson, I know you have. He has a lot of female medical practitioner friends. So, but would advise that all staff of Zed Multimedia should get one at home. And then also we'll try and help as a corporate body to see how they will get it.
And then for people who are not able to afford, people are always organizing health outreaches.
Okay.
All over the place. Churches, organizations. So people should just take the opportunity. It's free. You walk in, get your BP checked. There's always a health professional there who will advise you at the end of the day. And then once that's picked up, don't be afraid to go to the hospital for the doctor to assess and then to find out how you got it, and then preventing the complications.
Okay, so you can send your comments. Let them come through 0544 321019. That's the WhatsApp line as well. Send your comments. Doc is here to answer all your questions. I'm going to come to Doc and find out in those days where our forebears, were they getting BP or our lifestyle, is modernity also a causative factor for high blood pressure?
Yes, it is. It is. So back in the day, we used to, I mean, the Western culture has greatly influenced us. So in terms of our foods, even what we eat, there are more restaurants now. Back in the day, well, you just had one or two Chinese restaurants, one papaya here. Where you go, you are very happy that you have actually gone out, one or two hotels. But now it's all over the place. So we used to do a lot more home cooking than before. Now we are actually having to eat out a bit more. Alcohol, drugs have become a problem. Marijuana. Now it's all over the place. There's a bit of a drug menace, which we'll go into another time. Yeah? Yes, that true. All those things impact on our currently getting hypertension, our sedentary lifestyle, our work, corporate work. You end up sitting for long hours, and now we have elevators. Back in the day, once you get into a tall building, you will climb the stairs. So now we have elevators. So people don't exercise as much, don't walk as much. Their activity level is very low. And then they get home and they are so tired, they hit the bed, and then that's it. And then the next day, boom, it continues. So you have to make a conscious effort now to change your lifestyle, exercise, and yes.
Still on the discussion of the causes, are we becoming too materialistic as a people, and that is leading to increased stress, which is leading to hypertension? What is your take on that thing? Because when we have the discussions, we go genetic, we go dietary and all that. But are we chasing after too much? What would you say?
I can't say we are chasing after too much. I mean, just basic living. You can't help but work. I don't want to get into areas that will get me into trouble. But yes, just basically trying to eat and survive would mean that you have to work. Taking your children to school, it's not free. Well, yes, there's an area that I don't want to get into, but you will still have to pick transport to get to school, let's just say. And so you don't have a choice but to do certain things, and then that would lead to stress.
0303-956641. 0303-956641. The lines are open now. You can call and join the beautiful conversation going on about controlling high blood pressure, hypertension, right here on Zed Health and Wellness Tuesdays. Dr. Henrietta Norkai Ukran is a family physician specialist from the UGMC, and she's helping us to actually set our lives on the right path so that we don't get into trouble. Ghana Health Service as a body, what is the authority doing in this angle to ensure that hypertension is controlled in this country?
Well, so there are a lot of health promotion, health education exercises that go on. We celebrate World Hypertension Day. There's a lot of, like I said, just basically just throughout everywhere. There's education everywhere, and monitoring people's blood pressures all over the place. So, and they're making drugs available for people in the deprived areas and all that. So in terms of that, I think they're doing a good job.
Someone has said that we should ask that in mentioning, you said hypotension was also a problem. If hypertension is a problem, which is the up, hypo, which is the low, is also a problem?
No, so I was saying that you may end up taking a dosage of the drug that would reduce your blood pressure too low. Hypertension is also a different topic altogether. But if you're taking a dosage that is not suitable for you, because we do titrate the medications to your blood pressure, you will end up in monitoring, realizing that your blood pressure has gone lower than it should. And so when that happens, we reduce the dosage. But what that does is sometimes for some people it causes dizziness.
Okay.
Yes. So that will tell you that, okay, no.
It's too low.
It's yes, or the medication is too high. Let me go to my healthcare provider and let them reduce the dosage for me, or eventually take you off the medication.
Okay. World Hypertension Day each year is celebrated on the 17th of May. It's supposed to be a UN kind of a day where they use the opportunity to talk about hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. Now, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, what is the relationship here?
So hypertension is one of the diseases that leads to cardiovascular disease. So cardiovascular diseases could be your stroke, your heart attacks, your heart failure, all the complications that I did list, yes. But you have hypertension, diabetes, obesity, increased cholesterol, all those things lead to cardiovascular disease. They increase your risk of getting those diseases, the cardiovascular diseases that I was talking about.
So hypertension is a causative effect, but not a disease in itself.
It is a disease in itself.
But it also causes...
Yes.
Okay. The explanation is now clearer. So yes, listeners, viewers, we're streaming live on Facebook. You can also join us. Please bring us your comments. 0544321019, and the line is still open. 0303956641. On Instagram, on Facebook, and on X, our handle is at ZFMGH. On TikTok and YouTube is at Z Multimedia, and the website is zmultimedia.com. So please, as much as possible, you can. We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Who am I speaking with? Nana, sorry, the line has a serious static. We'll try and sort it out and then get back to you. So Nana Sari was calling, but the line had a serious static in it, which she was trying to get through. Please call 0303-956641 or 0544-321019. 0544-321019. Dr. Noka is here to answer your questions concerning hypertension and how we can handle it. I'm going to come to Doc. Doc, age. Are you noticing a trend, or does age? We've spoken about gender. What about age and its influence on diabetes or the implications of that?
So the older age influences your getting hypertension, increases the risk of getting hypertension. So what happens is...
Okay, Doc, I'll come to you, but we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Please, your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Nicholas, and I'm calling from Syntes.
Okay, Nicholas, your question for Dr. Okran.
Okay. I was asking if sleeping for more than 8 hours can lead to hypertension.
If sleeping for more than 8 hours can lead to hypertension?
Yes.
Doc would answer that. Thank you very much, Nicholas, for calling from Sphincters.
Sleeping for more than 8 hours, I cannot say will lead to hypertension. However, like I mentioned, there are lots of factors that would lead you to getting hypertension. So if you're somebody also who has a sedentary lifestyle, we would advise you to become more active and then exercise. But sleeping for more than 8 hours doesn't have a direct cause of causing hypertension. No,
okay.
It doesn't.
But it's even good because you are saying 6 hours.
Yes, because we want to reduce our stress levels, so that would help.
Okay. Thank you, Nicholas, for calling from Sphincters. The lines are still open. 80544-321019. You can call us right now, and you can also visit our handles, social media at ZFMGH, on Instagram, Facebook, and on X at ZFMGH, and on YouTube and TikTok is Z Multimedia. ZMultimedia.com, that's the website. Please bring your calls, your comment as much as possible. We want to have a conversation around it. I have another caller on the line. The static is still back. Please try getting through 0544-321019. We want to listen to your conversations around hypertension. Are the younger people, in your experience at the UGMC or wherever you've worked, are you seeing more of the younger folks now coming in hypertensive?
Actually, yes. So in the past, we used to get it more, or used to see more of the elderly people, because what happens is as you grow, your blood vessel, the lumen of your blood vessel becomes.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
I'm good. Who am I talking to?
Kezia.
Kezia, welcome back again. Kezia, you will get an award one of these days. You are most consistent listener. Kezia, what's your question for Dr. Okran?
Can children also get some, our children, the signs that we need to see if they are getting hypertension or something, or too much of oil eating will cause that?
You mean we're talking of children as young as how old?
15, 18 up to 20.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kezia, for calling. Dr.
You're
Okran will
welcome.
answer.
Yes. So children can get hypertension.
Children can get hypertension.
Yes, and those ones is because of secondary causes. So for some people, they are born with heart problems, heart deformities, heart defects. So they end up getting hypertension. Some children can also get renal disease, kidney disease. So for them, when you check their blood pressure, it will be up. They come with certain complications that would lead you to then investigate for hypertension or look in that direction. But usually it's because there's a secondary cause. There's something that is triggering the hypertension. She mentioned about oils too. Now, the earlier you start modifying your children's lifestyle, getting them used to eating certain things, the better. I think as a country, or I don't know, Africa in general, diet is a lot more carbohydrate based, and that's what we are brought up with, I think. And that's, so we get used to, okay, our food should be plenty rice, plenty white rice, big fufu, big banku, small fish, and so on. But later on in life, when the person now has to change their eating pattern, their eating habits, then it becomes a problem. They'll say, doctor, I can't stop eating white rice. I'd rather take medication. Don't change it. Hey, so you're trying to tell me that I cannot eat this food or that. And it's because from childhood they weren't trained that way. So the earlier we start educating or trying to get our children into the habits of eating fruits and vegetables, the better. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. An apple here, bananas there, pawpaw here, mangoes there. So they get into the habit of enjoying eating fruits and vegetables.
Good morning, caller.
Mr. Jerry, this is Richard.
Yes, Richard.
Yeah, I want to know whether sudden fright can cause hypertension leading to stroke.
That's a fantastic question, yeah.
Yeah, because it has happened in a lot of cases that I've seen. I'm not a doctor though, but the people did not have any previous history of hypertension. Maybe they were predisposed, but something just puts them in that fright mood, adrenaline rush or something, and then boom, they just.
Yes.
Please, your name and where you're calling from again?
I'm staying at your locality, Jansuman.
Interesting, and the name is.
My name is Richard.
Richard from Dansoman, thank you very much for that fantastic
and I
question.
always listen to you, Jerry, so add me to your consistent listeners.
Yes, you and Kezia, Richard and Kezia,
right.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Doc,
thank you.
Sudden fright.
Yes. So he mentioned about adrenaline. Yes, so it's not just sudden fright, excitement, overexcitement. So these people may already have their predisposition or may already have hypertension and not be aware of it. And then something significant happens, and then the adrenaline kicks in, their hormones kick in, and then it causes what we call a sympathetic reaction, where your pulse goes up, your blood pressure goes up. Even watching football can even do that, when you get excited about
like Black Stars.
League.
No, Champions League, it depends on the team you are supporting.
Yes.
If you're a Real Madrid supporter, you are safe. Then support another team, you might you might be in trouble.
Yes.
But that's a good question. Sudden fright.
It's a very, very, very good question. So when that happens, it shoots the blood pressure up. And then beyond a certain level, if you already have a lot of damage that has occurred in the blood vessel and then in the brain and things like that, or in the heart, then the next one that triggers a high surge, an upsurge of your blood pressure, you may end up popping a vessel and then you bleed. So that's what happens. But for these people, it's because silent killer, like we said, they didn't even know that they had an underlying problem for them to be monitoring and doing something about it. But yes, sudden fright and overexcitement can do that.
Interesting. Doc,
or extremes of emotion.
Okay, extremes of emotion.
Let me put it
a
that
big
way.
shock.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Doc, your final advice for Ghanaians. If there's talk to us. As a doctor, talk to us.
Lifestyle modification is a very, very, very important thing to do to prevent hypertension, to prevent diabetes, the non-communicable diseases, obesity, and changing our lifestyle, reducing our salt intake, reducing our alcohol intake, exercise is very important. You need to make time for it and do something that you enjoy. Try to reduce your stress levels as much as possible in whichever ways that you can, and that would just help to reduce your chances of getting hypertension. And continuously monitor. There are blood pressure machines all over the place. Come to hospitals for your medical checkups, and that will just keep all sorts of diseases away, or they are picked up early and then something can be done about it.
Dr. Henrietta Nokai Okrant is a family physician specialist from the UGMC, the University of Ghana Medical Center, and that was Health and Wellness Tuesday. The topic was controlling high blood pressure, hypertension. It's been amazing having you, Doc. We should bring you back again for more of the conversations.
It's been a pleasure being here, Jerry. Thank you so much for having me.
We're pleased to have you.
At your service.
Thank you so much. So, listeners, all too soon, Zed in the Morning, wrapping up. But before we do, what else can I say? Pray like it only depends on God, but work like it only depends on you. We'll do this again tomorrow, people. Have a great one.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.